Auto. 773-582 Auto for your local Geico agent. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answers starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Let's get the latest with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Clouds and sun today with a high 82, then becoming partly cloudy for the night, low 67. Sun and patchy clouds tomorrow, high 79, and a mainly clear night, low 62. Full day of sunshine Saturday, high 79. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
73 at O'Hare, 74 along the lakefront, 70 this morning at Midway, and a water temp, 74 at Wilmette Harbor. Your next news update is at 5:30. Continuous news coverage at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Illinois Rising, hosted by Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute. Sunday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
So this story, hot for teacher, a former high school calculus teacher from the suburbs of Philadelphia, sentenced to 30 days in jail, 60 days house arrest on recently this week for her role in a 2013 sexual fling with a male student who was 17 at the time. So 35-year-old mother of 3 children, married, calculus teacher. He was 17.
All right, what does she look like? Come on.
These stories, we hear about these stories every few months.
Yeah, and guys get so excited normally. We're like, oh, hot teacher, young student. It's like every boy's fantasy.
Well, my impression, but that's not the
Would
judge.
You have a picture of her over there?
Not handy. I don't keep a picture of her in my wallet.
I mean, I demand visuals.
Yes.
Don't you know this?
I'll
Google her. What's her name?
I'm indifferent. Her name is Janetti, Erica Ann Janetti, 35 years old. But I'll let you know what the judge thought about her in a minute. I just want to fill in the blanks here. The fateful July night when Janetti and the student consummated their affair was inside a car in an industrial park. So not exactly Romeo and Juliet. She sent him a text afterwards urging him to, quote, do it again. According to court records, her 2 crimes, institutional sexual assault, it was because it was a teacher-student. He's actually of age. 17 is age of consent
in Pennsylvania. Okay.
So if it would have been outside the school, she wouldn't have been charged. But since teacher-student, institutional sexual assault, as well as disseminating sexually explicit materials because she...
Sexted him?
Right. Maximum combined prison sentence of 14 years possible. Only got 60 days house arrest. And you know why? Wait for it.
Because their judges are always lenient on women. Oh, yes, they are. When women have sex with younger boys, it's okay because it's cool. It's like the scene from Mrs. Robinson, the movie,
Yes. Well, this judge, the Montgomery County Court Judge Garrett D. Page, I think is trying out for one of those tawdry daytime TV judge shows.
He wants to be the replace Judge Judy?
Or Judge Joe Brown, maybe.
I love Judge Joe Brown.
Yeah, maybe. Because he said...
Judge Joe Brown.
He said in sentencing her...
Yes.
That what young man would not jump on that candy? What young man would not jump on that candy? That's why he... meted out a more lenient sentence. And then he added that one bad day because of sexual hunger, very vivid, has resulted in all this avalanche of harm. I don't believe you're a bad human being. You did a bad act, so I have to punish you. Reluctantly, apparently.
And just 60 days supervision.
30 days in jail, 60 days house arrest. So 90 days total when she was facing as much as 14 years. Student, teacher. What young man wouldn't jump on that candy? Maybe the judge needs to
ask her out on a date.
No, or be
tone it down a little because that locker room mentality is really coming through there. I'm looking at her picture right now. Not, we always play the game hot or not. Not that hot.
Not according to Judge Garrett D. Page, who called her candy in a certain kind of way.
Who wouldn't jump on that candy?
Yeah, that's a reminder that don't always let the black robes fool you. They're just fallible human beings sitting on those benches, like we've talked about fallible human beings in uniform as police officers, fallible human beings in high office, fallible human beings, and we've got some real Cracker Jacks on the courts, not just in Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, but in Cook County, too.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Forecast for today, intervals of clouds and some sunshine, a high of 82 degrees. Tonight it'll be partly cloudy, a low of 67. And for Friday, yes, it's already Friday, they're going to have pleasant sunshine, patchy clouds, a high near 80 degrees. Let's get into our alarm detection systems traffic center. Someone who's always on time. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. There's some fallibility on the roadways as well. Lots of issues this morning. On the southeast side, South Shore neighborhood, 79th Street remains closed between Jeffrey and Exchange after the earlier crash and reported shooting. Reportedly at a fire department vehicle in that area. Pilsen Cermax blocked off between Ashland and Morgan. That's for Fiesta del Sol this weekend. West side, a gas leak has Laramie closed between North Avenue and Grand Avenue. And we have crashes. On the Tri-State Tollway southbound past Willow, 3 left lanes are blocked with a collision. Prepare for some delays in that area. Outbound Eisenhower right at the Reagan Tollway going on to westbound 88. There's a rollover crash. No delays to report on the Edens, Kennedy, Stevenson, or the Ryan. Inbound I-57, Bishop Ford, just a little congestion approaching the merge. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
A good parking lot is essential to a good building and a good business.
This is Kevin Berquist. My company is SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. Great parking lots. The name says it all. We make your parking lot great. We are an industry leader in seal coating. You can trust our company to do the work for your company. We have the same traditional values as you. We use a process and application that makes sure you get a great job that lasts a long time. I guarantee you'll have a good experience. Go to our website, GreatParkingLots.com. Check it out, GreatParkingLots.com.
Go to GreatParkingLots.com. Schedule a free inspection and get a quote to make your parking lot a great parking lot. Save the expense. Fix, don't replace. Contact SKC Construction now for commercial parking lot seal coating and maintenance. SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. GreatParkingLots.com.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
It takes a lot of courage to face your own death, but I'm glad I finally did. See, I was putting off getting life insurance to protect my family, even though I knew it was important. Then my neighbor's husband died. I watched her struggle emotionally and financially. It really made me face reality. If my husband died, how would I pay the mortgage, the car payments, or keep up the life the kids and I had? I realized I needed to get us life insurance right away. So I called AIG Direct. In less than 5 minutes, I had a quote. I was shocked at how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. I feel so much better knowing my family has protection.
Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you can save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-900-1904. That's 1-800-900-1904. 1-800-900-1904.
Message and data rates may apply. Please don't text while driving.
Did you know your organization's logo can do far more than you think?
Your logo carried my clothes to the gym.
Your logo kept my coffee warm all morning. Your logo charged my phone last night.
When the highly trained team at 4 Imprint put your logo on things people actually use, you'll be amazed at how powerful your logo can be. Not only will we unleash the full power of your logo, we'll show you the top 3 promotional items for driving new customers absolutely free. Text TEAM to 642-642 now. Every time your customers enjoy one of our promotional items with your logo, they'll think of you. Plus, with free art assistance, we'll make every item look fantastic for a great price. Satisfaction guaranteed.
Your logo keeps my laptop safe.
Your logo keeps me dry.
Attract new customers, reward employees, and make a lasting impression. Discover the top 3 promotional items for free. Text TEAM to 642-642. That's TEAM to 642-642.
AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, don't be caught without the facts. Listen to me, Sean Hannity, this afternoon at 2, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Do you still attend a traditional church, or have you evolved to the Church of Facebook or the Church of CrossFit, Our Lady of Perpetual Sweat, or Saint Self-Reverence, as I...
Well, I've always thought it would be beautiful to combine a church service with yoga, because yoga is very spiritual.
Oh,
and you,
yeah, spiritual.
Well, if you
I'm not
haven't done
religious,
it,
I'm spiritual.
No. I'm spiritual and I'm religious, but I'm saying in yoga, you release. There's this release at the end where you just feel
full release.
Well,
wow.
Some might call it a happy ending.
Wow.
No, I just
Boy, maybe I should
try
reconsider
it down
yoga.
dog.
Yeah.
Where's your chaturanga, Dan?
Right where it's supposed to be.
So what I've always thought, after, because it's very, I don't know how to describe this, and I'm doing a horrible job, but
yes,
it's spiritual. That's what I can say about yoga. And I always thought that you could combine church and yoga. You can have a sermon be read to you while you're, doing your moves.
A fellow at Harvard Divinity School who was at the Aspen Ideas Festival, which gave us such great ideas this week, as Jeff Goldberg, who is the editor-in-chief of The Atlantic, suggesting that if any violence is committed against a journalist, it's Donald Trump's fault. That was some of what incubated out of the Aspen Ideas Festival this year. But this Harvard Divinity School fellow suggested that CrossFit is a favorite example of a trend he's noticed, which is in the midst of the decline of religious affiliation in America and the rise of isolation and loneliness, which I embrace. Many ostensibly non-religious communities are functioning in ways that look a little bit religious, CrossFit being one of the best examples of this.
Now, why does he say that?
People's behavior and practice is really being unbundled from the institutions and identities that would have been homes for it. I was raised Catholic, but yoga is really the practice where I find my experience of contemplation. This is a fellow at the Harvard Divinity School. Now you know why those Ivy League schools that were founded as divinity schools have gone the way they've gone. As institutional affiliation decreases, some people have the same age-old desires for connection, relationships, connection to something bigger than themselves. And he's found that meditation groups, adult summer camps,
oh my gosh, adult summer camp,
perpetual adolescence, don't you know, fandoms, and even fitness communities at specialized gyms like CrossFit or SoulCycle are all stepping in to fill some of those needs. Strikingly, spaces traditionally meant for exercise have become the locations of shared, transformative experience. The two most striking things about CrossFitters are their evangelical enthusiasm and the way they hold one another to account. CrossFit expects members to call each other out if they don't appear at their usual time and let each other know if they're out of town.
Well, and then also, too, in CrossFit, you encourage each other. You rattle each other's cages. Like, come on, you can do better than this. Or what's wrong with you, Jim? Because I do CrossFit twice a week.
Yeah.
I don't see it as...
And
I mean, there's bonding that's going on, but I don't compare it to church.
It's just like when I go to Holy Name, like, hey, pray harder. Come on, Prof.
Hey,
come on, Prof. You're not praying as hard as you can pray.
Get in that pew.
Yeah.
Stand up quicker. Kneel down faster. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you jab at each other.
Yeah. Hey, lady, what's with slouching on the kneeler? Let's go. Upright. Come on.
Shoulders back. Come on. Are you squeezing your abs?
Yeah. Act like you want to be here.
Well, you do pray in yoga. And you say, namaste.
You pray to yourself.
No.
Yes.
No, but you do. You have a prayer when you take in the air and then you breathe it out and you hold your hands to your heart in a prayer-like manner.
And what do you pray for? Or to? Or whom do you pray?
I just try to breathe and concentrate on my breathing. But I noticed there's some people who, one lady once cried the whole yoga class. She sat in a child's pose and cried the whole time.
Yeah.
And you know what I did? I put my hand on her back and I said, "You're loved." I feel like
and then you made out.
No, and I think she appreciated it. I said, I don't know her name. I haven't seen her since.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I couldn't see her face because
Well, people need to know sometimes that they're loved. And when you go to these group exercises, you cheer each other on and, you form a bond.
Don't do it, man. Don't do it. Come here. Here comes the hug. Don't do it. Don't you do it. Okay, Goodwill Hunting. Come on. For goodness sakes.
Oh, now I want to take you to yoga because you're going to take me to the Crosstown Classic. So I reciprocate.
This is the end of days here. So if CrossFit isn't the spiritual experience you're looking for, I'm sorry, the religious affiliation you seek. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg has suggested that Facebook can be your church.
Oh, boy. Here we go. And somebody has to ruin it.
Upon Facebook hitting its 2 billion user mark, Zuckerberg boasted the world is a little brighter now. With 100 million, because you have 100 million Facebook users taking part in what Zuckerberg terms meaningful communities, which are groups on Facebook. If we can do this, it will not only turn around the whole decline in community membership we've seen for decades, it will start to strengthen our social fabric and bring the world closer together. We have a need for great leaders saying a church doesn't just come together. It has a pastor who cares for the well-being of their congregation, make sure they have food and shelter. People who go to church are more likely to volunteer and to give to charity, not just because they're religious, but because they're part of a community. Mark, who probably doesn't attend synagogue, maybe this is why he's a bit confused. Yeah, they're part of a community, but it's because the faith calls you to be a servant leader, at least in Christianity. So your people are living their faith. It's not just because they're, in a chat group. So what about that? Is Zuckerberg and the Harvard Divinity School fellow talking about CrossFit? Can these be the new churches? Can they replace these secular churches? Are they churches or sources of engaging in something that's bigger than yourself? Or are they just kind of cheap cults and self-referential ones at that? Is it really the case that these groups, social media, CrossFit, the people who are not religious but spiritual, one of my favorite phrases, is right up there with living my truth, that this just actually accentuates people believing they're their own God rather than people believing anything that transcendental, anything that exists outside and above them, like the truth. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. Dave and Niles, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, the great show. When the Don says that he wants you over at his house once a week, 45 minutes for breakfast, or hey, you could make it supper, okay, depending on your schedule, you do it. There's nothing in the middle that says, well, gee, Don, I was thinking of you standing in the forest, or while I was doing my yoga, or I'm dipping my toast in the egg yolk, okay? And when you die, you're going to be standing there all by yourself, naked in front of the good Lord, the Don, tell him why, and your yoga partner and Zuckerberg ain't going to be there.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Dave and Niles. Thanks for setting Amy straight. Candace and DuPage.
Good morning. For secular people, I guess, I like to listen to Des Prager, as you know, Dan and Amy. And I think he had a thing on wisdom the other day, which was really powerful. And he said, if you don't have the Bible, you don't have wisdom. And
it's hard to have wisdom without truth.
Yes, exactly. And it's really interesting because I've been noticing, I have neighbors, I talk to them, and several of my neighbors who are kind of like baby boomers and are very liberal are now going through this thing where they're going to Bible study, which I think is very interesting.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I've been noticing people getting interested in the Bible and going to classes and things. So I think that's very interesting.
Well,
my friend Sue wants to go to church with me.
Thanks for the call, Candace. Well, you know what happens. You know why? Sorry, Candace. Thank you for the call. You know why old people read and study the Bible more than young people?
They have more time to read it.
They're cramming for finals.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. When you think about quality K-12 schools that put kids on a path to being successful, independent adults, do you think of gender-inclusive toolkits, opposition to federal law enforcement, support for the impeachment of the president? If you don't, you probably weren't at the National Education Association's annual meeting. In worldwide rankings, U.S. high school students do not crack the top 20 in either science or reading and have dropped to 35th in math. The response from the nation's largest teachers union is to argue for in-state college tuition for persons in the country illegally and against the U.S.'s quote-unquote illegal overthrow of the Hawaiian monarchy in 1893. 159 new business items and nary a one dealing with student performance, classroom instruction, or fiduciary responsibility. The NEA has affiliates in all 50 states. They take over school districts, subordinate intellectual development to political indoctrination, and purchase legislators who fund it all on your dime and at your kid's expense. So when the NEA tells you that their business is making your kid a sentinel of the welfare state, you should believe them and maybe show up to a school board meeting.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson, President Trump's ban on transgenders in the military. Is it about medical costs or disruption? We'll have that. But first, let's go into the newsroom and say good morning to the one and only Mike Scott.
Amy, good morning. Good morning, everyone. 73 right now in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. The White House this morning insisting that the president's ban on transgendered people in the military is based on what is best for the military. Yesterday, House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi shared strong words about the president's stance.
This morning's tweets reveal a president with no respect for the courageous men and women who risk their lives to defend our freedoms.
Spokeswoman Sarah Huckabee Sanders saying the president has become concerned that the Obama-era transgender policy was eroding military readiness. Senators voting down a full repeal of Obamacare without a replacement.
On this vote, the yeas are 45, the nays are 55. The amendment is not agreed to.
Number of Republicans joining Democrats in voting no. Many other votes are expected before the end of the week. One person is dead in an accident on the opening day of the Ohio State Fair. Ohio Governor John Kasich.
A very tough night for the people of our state because of the loss of our citizens.
7 others were hurt when a row of seats flew from the Fireball ride yesterday evening. 3 are in critical condition. One person in custody after gunshots rang out, damaged a Chicago Fire Department truck on the south side near 79th and Yates after a 2-vehicle crash early this morning. Taiwanese electronics giant Foxconn apparently passing up Illinois and several other states and will build a smartphone assembly plant in southeast Wisconsin. The CTA suing a Chicago man who's refusing to return nearly $60,000 worth of CTA tools and other specially made safety equipment. The equipment was in a CTA storage locker. It's on a piece of property that Fernando Fromenta bought in July. CTA now says Fromenta has refused to allow the agency to remove the container and has illegally changed locks and stationed a security guard. Politically this morning, Indiana Representative Luke Messer formally announcing he will challenge Democrat Senator Joe Donnelly in 2018. Donnelly is the most vulnerable of Senate Democrats up for election. And this morning, 3 Iowa businessmen are suing United Airlines, yes, over the death of that giant rabbit following a flight from London to Chicago. You may recall the rabbit had a name, Simon, on his way to Iowa in April when he was discovered dead at O'Hare. The airline says it's reviewing that complaint and is, quote, saddened, end quote, by the rabbit's death. Simon, of course, purchased with the plan to show him off at the Iowa State Fair and then use him to fundraise for that annual event. Cubs beat the White Sox 8-3 on the south side. Training camp here for the Bears. Big win for the U.S. men's national soccer team. They're celebrating a Gold Cup championship after a win over Jamaica, 2-1. The news, a service of Geico Chicago. Hey, Chicago, Geico now has even more ways to save you money. Your local Geico agent ready to deliver the personal service you need. With the savings you love, call 773-582-AUTO, 773-582-AUTO for your local Geico agent. A check of traffic and weather on the way next. on AM 560.
Home isn't just a place, it's the feeling of knowing you're safe. ADT lets you take that feeling with you. Learn more at ADT.com.
What's the scariest thing about going to the dentist? Opening your mouth or opening your wallet? Because just a simple cleaning can cost $100, and things like root canals can cost you hundreds more. If you don't have dental insurance to help, you should give Physicians Mutual Insurance Company a call. 1-800-300-8038. This isn't a discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps pay for checkups right away, so you can call today and get your teeth cleaned tomorrow. Plus, it helps cover the more expensive procedures you might need down the road. Fillings, crowns, bridges, even costly dentures. There's no deductible and no annual maximum. Your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these insurance policies, even if you're retired or on Medicare. There are no networks, so you can choose any dentist you'd like. That's right, any dentist you want. Call and we'll rush you a free information kit with all the details. 1-800-300-8038. That's 1-800-300-8038. 1-800-300-8038.
536, a check of the roads. A quick one in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Southbound Tri-State is jammed from Willow to Lake Avenue. Got a crash there, blocking 3 left lanes that now we're told they've just reopened. Edens and Kennedy are fine. Eisenhower outbound going to the Reagan Tollway got a rollover crash. Stevenson 37 minutes, 3:55 to the drive. The Ryan 20 from 95th to downtown. I-57 19 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop 422 traffic service of Napa Auto Parts. With quality parts and more than 90 years of experience, Napa Auto Parts can help you keep just about anything on the road. Stop by your local Napa store and keep it running longer, stronger with Napa know-how. That's traffic on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Clouds and sunshine. High 82. Currently 74. Your next news update is at 6. Continuous news coverage at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Kelly Financial Services, helping you secure your financial future today. Visit kellyfinancialservicesinc.com.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
So I'm blaming it all on Ed Henry from Fox News.
Way to go, Ed.
So last night, Dan Proft tweeted pretty late, too. Great to meet Ed Henry at White Sox home and get his jacket. He was at the White Sox game selling his new book, 42, about Jackie Robinson. And there's a picture of him and Ed Henry, and they're not drinking, but they are holding up a book, and it was tweeted at 9:02 p.m. So if he was at guaranteed rate at 9:02 p.m., watched the rest of the game, got home, it was probably, 11:30, midnight?
Yeah,
and we have been looking for Dan all morning.
Dan! Dan! Dan, we're leaving! Dan!
I mean, it's so bad. I was even texting his friends. And then Keith Conrad, the executive producer, and I called Lake Point Towers. I mean, it's no secret where he lives in the, pie in the sky there.
His well-appointed
condo. Looking for him. And good news is he is on his way in. Now, knowing Dan, he's probably going 110 miles per hour, which I would not recommend because he was caught speeding a few weeks ago. Remember that? And he goes to court on Monday. And that's a misdemeanor because he was going so fast.
Right.
And he won't tell me the exact speed, so I don't know if it's a misdemeanor. Might, drift over into felony section because he was going that fast.
Yeah. They caught him red-handed. I think there were 3 figures on the Speedo.
Oh,
that
there
morning.
were.
I'll bet you there were.
And so Peyton and Eli, because they always get excited when police are involved. Can we go to his court hearing? So if any of you want to go, his court hearing is Monday morning. Coming
don't
Monday.
Do that.
Oh,
really?
No, at 9 a.m. at Rolling Meadows. I'm going to have a sign, Free Dan. Free Dan.
That's not a place really to take your children.
Why not? They can learn about the judicial system.
It's
learn
chaos.
That if you
Only
break
because
the
it's
law,
chaos. Yes,
right.
I understand that.
If you break the law, these are consequences of your actions.
It's chaos.
Yeah.
For those appearances and for those little itty-bitty court docket things that come up and they just roll through, and it's confusing. And for kids to actually see how a courtroom actually works, I would actually start taking them to the civil section downtown at the Daily Center. Take them to a courtroom there.
Oh,
that's a whole nother. I'm
but that's
that's a whole nother
personal
issue. Yes, it is. However, I think Ed Henry needs to hustle his butt in here to AM 560 because, as I told you during the break, I remember a gentleman by the name of Major Garrett, one of our friends of the show, who now works for CBS, right?
Right.
Major Garrett was working for Fox at the time, and he
he filled in for me. I was on vacation.
Yes,
shocking. I went on vacation.
Well, you're supposed to. He was downtown. I think he was on assignment, and it may have been Keith that called him and said, "Come on in," and he was like, "Well, is there a car?" And there wasn't. And guess what? He got into a taxi.
That's awesome.
And paid his own way out here and stuck around for at least 2.5 hours on that morning show. So, Ed Henry, if you're listening, and I know you are, Jeff Manasso, if you're listening in the Chicago Bureau, and I know you are, y'all get in a taxi.
Mm-hmm.
Hustle your buns out here and let's go. Because if you're the ones who made Mr. Prof late this morning, then Ed Henry, you need to fill in.
We had some fun at Dan's expense from our morning show, Morning Answer, Twitter handle. Dan's running a little late this morning. Apparently, Ed Henry was a bad influence on him. But it is a great picture. You should see it because Dan looks very happy. He's smiling, even though the fact that his White Sox lost 8-3, and now the Cubs are number 1 in the division. Thank you. That's why I'm wearing my Cubs shirt today.
Thanks to the Washington club who defeated the Brewers last night.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so yesterday, about 24 hours ago, almost to the minute, my cat, Crazy, was killed by a careless driver in Chicago as a hit and run, and I've been so late last night around 11 o'clock, we had to finally say goodbye. One of the neighbors, I don't even know her, she saw my cat in the middle of the road, pulled it over because she didn't want it to get run over anymore. She wanted to preserve the body.
Well, it was good that she recognized the cat.
She did, and then she saw the
that doesn't happen very often.
No, and he had a collar on with my number, so she called, and she was really sad, and so I had my babysitter go and take him in a blanket, and I held him for 3 hours yesterday, just thinking maybe he'll come back, maybe, because, they always say cats have 9 lives, but it was over. And I'm telling you, my neighbors were so sweet. They all wrote, because everybody in my neighborhood loves Crazy.
Sure.
And dear Miss Amy, I'm so sorry that your cat died. Love, Rose. And then she wrote a map to love and happiness, and then she put the address of my house. Because I always let the neighborhood kids come over and walk the dog or pull weeds, or I always entertain them.
Pull weeds, good for you.
Yeah, and then, I put them to work.
Yeah.
And then, I love you, I love Crazy, I'm going to miss Crazy. And all these sweet. And then somebody gave me their stuffed animal. It was like we were sitting Shiva yesterday for about 4 hours.
For a cat.
I'm kidding. For a cat.
Funny.
But the best gift I got was from Anne Flynn and Molly and Lucy. It's a 3D printed Crazy cat lady because my cat's name was Crazy.
Sure. Yeah.
So isn't that sweet?
I like that. That's really nice. But I also still, right past Crazy, right on your lower lip there, I see what Crazy did to your lower lip.
Yeah.
That's still there. That will be permanent, and you will have a permanent scar. And I'm talking because that's how it looks. Right
Is
there?
That right?
Yeah.
No, that was Crazy's mom who did that.
Oh, that was Crazy. Okay.
So Crazy's mom.
Relation.
And when cat ladies don't have just one cat, Mike. Cat ladies have a bunch of cats. So I still have one
you don't
cat.
Look like a cat lady.
It doesn't matter. I hide it well.
You hide it well.
But you know who's the most depressed? And if you can go on my Twitter account, you can see it. My dog Bunky was for 4 hours, did not eat yesterday, just sat by the body, was just so upset. And even this morning when I left for work, he was just, it was sad. It affects other animals in the house. So my kids finally got home from Puerto Rico, and I was going to dig a hole in the backyard. And I started digging, and then I realized when it rains, my backyard floods, and the last thing in the world I would want is for Crazy's corpse to pop up like Pet Cemetery.
I get him fixed. Fixed cat don't tend to wander. He's all the time crossing back and forth on that road. His luck will run out.
Well, I'll take it under advisement.
Oh, see? So I decided last minute I called the vet, and thank goodness they were still open, Duke Animal Hospital.
Yeah, sure.
And my boys met me there straight from O'Hare, and they said their goodbyes, and it was really, it was an emotional day, but it was really great to just be able to say goodbye. Because sometimes if that lady hadn't pulled his body off the street, he would have been run over several times, and it would have ended differently. So
sure, it is
She gave him dignity in death. And I will tell you, the person who hit them, why? All day long I heard people saying, oh, it's the city. No, I don't care. It was a large cat. You don't drive recklessly. That's why you look out, because it's a cat now. Tomorrow it'll be a small child. And it happened right in front of Mayor Emanuel's security detail headquarters. And they drive in and out there with those big SUVs all the time. And yesterday I said he had 4. I stand corrected. He had 3. So yesterday was about grieving and saying goodbye. Today is about justice and finding out who did this to my cat.
Well, is there any video, any cameras nearby? Anybody's house cameras?
Yes. 3 houses have the little ball thing on their front porch. So I'm going to do that today. Leave notes, write a mass letter, make copies, and just say if you can look between 6 p.m. and 5 a.m.
I think what you need is what happens at funerals in Ghana now. And there's a video out there. I know ABC News ran video last night of the pallbearers who people are hiring to put their people into a procession on the way to the cemetery. These guys are great. They have a dance that they do that brings joy to the event, and you got to find the video. Okay. It's fun. We'll bring those here to Chicago. Yeah. We'll bring the Ghana dancing pallbearers, and we'll have a special ceremony for Crazy. Find the video. It's great. You'll love it.
And I know it's a cat. People don't care about cats as much as dogs, but that cat was like a dog. That cat was smarter than my dog. I put up a bell string on the back door.
Well, we met Bunky.
Well, yeah. Well, Bunky's special. For Bunky to ring the bells when he wants to go outside. Yeah. He never used it. The cat used it. And the cat would sit, the cat would lay down, and the cat would go on walks with us every night. Yeah. Without a leash, would just follow us along. So rest in peace, Crazy. You're gone, but you will never be forgotten.
What is this place?
This was their burial ground.
Whose burial ground?
Micmac Indians. I brought you here to bury Ellen's cat.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Forecast for today, plenty of sunshine, but a few high clouds. Pleasant 82 degrees. Then tonight, a low of 67. And for Friday, yes, it's already Friday. It's going to be sunshine, some high clouds, a high near 80 degrees. Let's get into our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. How is the outbound Kennedy and outbound Jane Addams? Are any cars pulled over on the side of the road by police? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Hey, thanks. Good morning. Right now, the Kennedy's all clear, so that's good news. Mr. Prof, no delays to report inbound or outbound. And the reversibles are open on the inbound side. And the Adams Tollway, Jane Addams Tollway on 90, that's also fine in both directions right now. There's some ongoing work eastbound Bussey to Elmhurst Road on the right lane, scheduled till August 1st. The Edens is fine. The Eisenhower now has delays inbound Manheim to 17th. 31 minutes Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 29. Stevenson, 42 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 18 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop 421. Southbound Tri-State, stop and go Willow to Lake Avenue. All lanes have opened after an earlier crash. In Port Barrington, Rawson Bridge, still flooded, closed between Roberts and Tuxedo. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
For 5 years, I was with this other company, and I tried everything, and it was costing me a fortune. And on top of that, it wasn't working. And I said, ever since I've taken this product, I have kissed that goodbye. Matter of fact, I said, this has been the first winter that I have gone through without a flu or nothing.
Last year, I started on the Balance of Nature. I'm telling you, it really built me up, and it really helped me.
My cholesterol went down. Only after taking it 1 month, I went down 20 points.
I feel better already with it. I just feel it's made my life more predictable, more useful.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Message and data rates may apply.
Have you ever forgotten your password? With all the accounts you have and all the rules around passwords, remembering every single one is impossible. That's why millions of people are turning to Dashlane, the award-winning app that protects your passwords and creates an easy, secure way to access all of your accounts. And right now, you can get access to Dashlane free for life on your favorite device just by texting SECURE to 543-543. Over 6 million users manage their passwords with Dashlane. Over 6,000 companies trust Dashlane. And over 70,000 reviews give it a 5-star rating. But the only number that really matters? 0. Because that's how many times you'll forget your passwords using Dashlane. With Dashlane, your passwords are never misplaced and never forgotten. Simple, safe, secure. Unlock free access to Dashlane on your favorite device for life right now. Just text SECURE to 543-543. That's SECURE to 543-543.
Do you crave work that matters? 20 years ago, Bob Buford's book, Halftime, took business leaders from success to significance in their work. That book started a movement and the Halftime Institute. Now, from Institute CEO Dean Nawalny comes the next new powerhouse book, Trade Up. Building on Bob's legacy, Trade Up shows marketplace leaders how to not just make money, but make a difference. If the word smoldering discontent describe you, then Trade Up. Go to halftime.org. That's halftime.org.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with an SPF of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Are you buying or selling a business or starting a business? Maybe you have legal problems with a business partner or employees, or are just drowning in new regulations. You need the support of a law firm that concentrates in a wide range of business law and tax matters. You need the corporate team at Kelleher & Buckley. Whether you're a local mom and pop shop, middle market business, or a large corporation or franchise, they provide cost-effective legal solutions to help your businesses thrive. The lawyers of Kelleher & Buckley focus on targeted legal advice tailored to meet the specific needs of your business. You deserve competent legal representation from a law firm maintaining a high level of knowledge about the ever-changing laws governing businesses. One that also includes accountants and tax specialists on board to provide your business bottom-line solutions. Kelleher & Buckley, LLC of North Barrington and Chicago is a legal solution provider that also includes estate planning, asset protection, life insurance planning, and litigation. Keep your business on track. Call 847-382-9130 or online at kelleherbuckley.com.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gavalis, Joshi, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
If you're aged 59 and a half or older with the 401k plan and still working, stop what you're doing and call Arlington Capital Management at 855-471-5796. They'll help you actively manage your 401k, show you strategies to avoid major declines, and capitalize on opportunities. There are benefits with age, and this is one of them. At 59 and a half, you're entitled to new opportunities in the investment world that can dramatically improve your results and even lower your fees. Call 855-471-5796 now and take the first step toward getting more out of your retirement assets. The team at Arlington Capital Management proactively explores the market, our economy, and all of the variables that offset your investments. Call 855-471-5796 now for a complimentary consultation. That's 855-471-5796 or visit arlington-capital.com. You worked hard to accumulate your nest egg. Now, it's time to put your money to work for you.
It's hard to filter through all the noise. Sorting through healthcare plans for yourself or your business makes your head hurt. Will this plan take care of what you need? Will it fit your budget? Who has the time to shop around? It's a lot to deal with and figure out. The solution to your healthcare plan problems? Summit Solutions. Talk to real people and get answers in simple terms you can understand and negotiate a plan that's right for you. Summit Solutions is an independent advisor with the freedom to custom design solutions and solve your healthcare plan problems. They'll assist and explain not only healthcare to your employees, but also retirement planning. Here's what one of their customers says. Summit Solutions has consistently met or surpassed our expectations. We've never had to consult with any other broker or agent for any type of coverage. They've been an essential component to our success and growth. Call Summit Solutions for a free consultation or analysis of your plan, 773-685-9077, or visit SummitSolutionsUSA.com. Summit Solutions. Insure, invest, retire.
Joe, I love you. You gotta calm down.
The Joe Walsh Show.
I hardly ever raise my voice on this show. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I never get excited. I never lose my head. What? Why did we let Kevin get through? I never raise my voice, ever.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
My blood pressure, I think, is just fine.
5:57. Let's get an update on the roads this early morning in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. We're seeing some delays on the CTA Blue Line for Forest Park bound trains. This is after a mechanical problem at Rosemont. In that area, the inbound Kennedy now has a little bit of a delay from the River Road toll to Canfield. 21 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. Outbound Font at 20. Eden's delay-free. Inbound Eisenhower. It's slow starting at Manheim. 33 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 29. Stevenson, 47 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 5 to 34. Ryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tollways are looking good now, Northwest Indiana as well. South Shore, 79th Street remains blocked off between Jeffrey and Exchange after a crash. Reported shots fired at a fire department vehicle. Traffic Services Staples. With free next-day delivery from Staples, you can run your business like a pro. Go to staples.com for the office essentials you need delivered next day free on eligible items only and orders over $49.99 placed by 5 p.m. Excludes weekends and holidays. Staples, it's pro time. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, intervals of clouds and sunshine, high 82. Tonight, becoming partly cloudy, low 67. Tomorrow, sunshine and patchy clouds, high 79. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
Currently 73. News, a service of LifeLock. It's morning, and here's an eye-opener. If LifeLock can see more threats to your identity than you can see, you're just monitoring your credit. And if something happens, a U.S.-based specialist at LifeLock will work to fix it. Go to LifeLock.com. Promo code RISK. Save 10%. At 5:59, it's time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. And time to check the stories we're following in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. One person is in custody after gunshots rang out this early morning near 79th and Yates. Those gunshots damaged a Chicago Fire Department truck on the south side. Taiwanese electronics giant Foxconn passing up Illinois and will build a smartphone assembly plant in southeast Wisconsin. Police say a man has shot and killed a doctor outside a Northwest Indiana medical center, and the suspect committed suicide after fleeing the scene. Anthony Rizzo had 3 hits and 4 RBI. Cubs cut down the White Sox 8-3 on the south side. Currently 73 at O'Hare. Clouds and sunshine in your forecast. More Dan and Amy after Fox News. WIND Chicago News Time. 6 o'clock.
The fireball becomes the fire fall. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. A thrill ride turns deadly on the first day of the Ohio State Fair.
The dude hit the ground. He wasn't breathing.
She's so distraught you can barely hear her say a guy wasn't breathing after she saw him and others fall to the ground. He was killed. 3 were critically injured.
Last night, something went horribly wrong on the Fireball, a ride which sends passengers spinning and swinging 40 feet into the air. There is cell phone video video of the exact moment the ride broke apart. Mid-swing, it crashes into something and a row of seats flies off.
Stacey Fry with Fox 8 TV at the fair. The governor has ordered all rides shut down today for safety checks. Another Republican Obamacare repeal plan falls short at the Senate. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, 7 Republicans voted against a plan to repeal most of the Affordable Care Act with a 2-year window for replacement. Now lawmakers are considering a so-called skinny bill that would scrap the individual mandate and some taxes. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer argued against that idea.
It makes premiums far higher than they are today.
Republican Mike Round says even if a skinny bill passes, he believes
the end result is still going to be a repeal and replace product.
Expect senators to work late into the night, adding amendments in a session called a vote-a-rama. Dave?
Rachel, the Pentagon says it will work with the White House implementing a ban on transgender people in the military, which President Trump announced in 3 tweets.
It is an absolute disgrace. It is a shame. It is unpatriotic, and it is cowardly.
Merrick Haisling with the National Center for Transgender Equality. Amid protests in New York and San Francisco, the president cites tremendous medical costs and disruption. Michael Jackson's estate ordered to pay up. Quincy Jones produced Thriller and Billie Jean, and a California jury has decided to award him more than $9 million in royalties because those songs were used in the concert film This Is It. A Jackson lawyer says they'll appeal. Fox News, fair and balanced.
This summer, everybody is talking about one person. And on August 22nd, we want to hear what you have to say about President Donald Trump. Join AM 560's Joe Walsh for the Summer of Trump as he welcomes Hugh Hewitt and Guy Benson to the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Join the debate as they discuss the good, the bad, and the ugly moments of the Trump administration. Tickets are on sale now at 560theanswer.com/summer. Sponsored in part by Storlock and by Best Dental Group.
When was the last time you walked out of a mattress store feeling confident about your purchase? These places exist for one reason: for a highly trained, commission-driven salesperson to dupe you into spending way too much money on a mattress. Hi, my name is Neil, and I'm one of the co-founders of Casper. Casper was created with a single goal in mind: deliver a great night's sleep at an incredible value. So we hired a team of engineers and designers to develop a single perfect mattress that sleeps cool and has just the right sink and bounce. We sell the Casper mattress online, skipping the markups of mattress stores, and we let you try it out in your own home for 100 nights risk-free. In less than 3 years, we've rapidly become the internet's favorite mattress. In fact, it now has more than 20,000 reviews with an average of 4.8 stars. Try us out today.
Simply go to Casper.com and use code RESTED to get $50 towards your mattress purchase. Terms and conditions apply. That's gift code RESTED at Casper.com for $50 towards your mattress purchase. Casper.com. Thanks for checking us out.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Empowered Investing, the show dedicated to investors. Heard Saturdays at noon right here on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy, and
what, did Ed Henry slip you a roofie?
Yeah, too many consecutive days of 2 hours sleep. Apparently, I reached my max.
You know what? It does catch up with you, Dan. But didn't it feel good to sleep in a little? I'm honestly, you feel refreshed, and then work will go by so much quicker. When you get there later, it goes by fast.
Yeah.
And I speak from experience because one time the vice president was in town, vice president of the company, and I overslept an hour, which was great.
I may chop this show down to a 2-hour installment from this point forward. All right. So,
but we did call Lake Point Towers looking for you, and we had to all call. And then I started texting, I think, all of your friends. So I'm so sorry.
There's no leaks at Lake Point Tower.
Oh,
they're
that
they're
place
not going to
is
disclose my location.
But you'd have to call the police and do a well-being check.
Yes.
But I didn't go that far because I reached out to some other friends. That your friends' friends. Once I couldn't hear from your friends.
Yeah, that would have been a little over the top, I think. There was some restraint in order in these circumstances.
We exercised restraint, okay? But how was Ed Henry?
He was great. At Sox-Cubs game yesterday, Ed Henry signing books, as he mentioned he would be on our show earlier this week, and he was, and I got a signed book for you.
I don't see it signed. I think you have a book.
Well, you have to look at the first page. You have to open the first page.
Oh,
where authors
dear
sign
Amy,
books.
congratulations on your Cubs victory.
Well, it was a little early. The game wasn't over at
But
the
it was
point.
still 5-0.
Yeah.
5-0.
5-1.
Oh,
5-1
5-1.
when I got my books.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. Ed sends his regards. And
Always fun. Let me read. Amy, always so fun to be on with you. Jackie left us an awesome legacy. Ed Henry.
Mm-hmm.
Booyah.
And he's very sorry about the loss of your pet too.
Oh, did he know that Crazy died?
No, I mentioned it.
And I'm sorry about the loss of your cat. Thank you, Ed. That's so sweet.
Said that rhetorically, not in
okay.
the written word. But okay. And the search for the perpetrator.
Search for the perpetrator begins today. And I did dabble. I walked through the neighborhood yesterday and noticed 3 houses have security cameras that are pointed out toward the street.
Okay.
So I have their addresses. I'm going to write a letter, make 3 copies, and put it under their door. And then I went to the headquarters, the Rahm Emanuel detail headquarters, and looked inside, and they had 3 black SUVs, not 4. Now, one might have been out with the mayor, but normally they travel together.
You have to scramble a CSI team over there before they fix the cars or they remove any evidence.
Of fur on the bumper or on the tire.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Small animals today, children tomorrow, because they drive crazy through there. You think it's going to stop that? It always begins with small animals and leads to children because they drive recklessly.
That's the same way it works in Chicago politics.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
First we elect small animals and then we move to children.
So I'll keep you updated.
All right, please do.
Yes.
Yesterday, some breaking news during our show was Trump's announcement that he is reversing the Obama-era transgender policy for the U.S. military, and that reversal is fairly simple. It's transgender individuals shall not serve in the U.S. military. That has created the expected firestorm from the LGBTQ-obsessed left. I refer you to none other than Sulu. George Takei.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Trump. History shall record that you are not only the stupidest, most incompetent president ever, but also the cruelest and pettiest.
Well, during the campaign, President
Mia Farrow.
What did Mia Farrow?
Said despicable.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Hold on. Wait, I want to get other important celebrity voices.
The one I only
in
care
here.
about is Caitlyn Jenner, who said there's 15,000 patriotic transgender Americans in the U.S. military fighting for us all. What happened to your promise to fight for them? Because remember during the campaign, he said he was going to fight for LGBT rights. Here he is.
Who is really the friend of women and the LGBT community? Donald Trump with actions or Hillary Clinton with her words?
So they see this as a slap in the face.
Yeah, they do. Here's the thing. There's a couple of reasons why. There's one reason in particular why this happened, and one of the reasons is that you had a funding fight brewing over over U.S. taxpayers paying for gender reassignment surgeries for members of the military, and it threatened to derail some of the other funding that was in this omnibus bill that would represent policy victories for Trump, including things like border wall funding. And so because you had dissension within the ranks in the Republican caucus, Trump decided to come over the top and eliminate it altogether. Now, this is also not without the support of a lot of leadership in the military, including the Secretary of Defense, James Mattis. And it is worth noting.
Well, then why didn't he roll this out? I mean, it's a major military policy change, and instead it was tweeted out by the president. I mean, I know that's the world we may live in, but I don't like that. That should have come from Mathis himself. He should have had a press conference and brought it out, or he should have released the statement.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. One point of order on this, though, in terms of the number, the military's reaction to this policy. A Rasmussen survey taken last month found, and the populace at large, start there, found just 23% of likely voters think the decision to allow openly transgender people to serve, which was the Obama administration policy change, is good for the military. 23% think it's good for the military. 31% think it's bad, and 38% said it would have no impact. Among military men and women, specifically, Military Times Institute for Veterans and Military Families poll this is was conducted as Obama's term was coming to an end, found that 41% said that allowing transgender individuals to serve openly affected the military readiness negatively. It hurt it, while 12% said it helped. Despite that, Ash Carter, at the time, Obama's Secretary of Defense, said this is the right thing to do for our people and for the force. So the question is it the right policy? Or are you indifferent to the policy because you take the perspective, whatever the leadership of the military believes improves military readiness, that's the policy that should be pursued. And if they believe, evidence-based belief, not just political opinion, if they believe that it will negatively impact cohesion and thus military readiness, military effectiveness, then the policy should not be pursued. If they think it will have no impact or they think it will perhaps even enhance, then the policy is less offensive.
Okay, well, that said, they didn't answer the question if they're going to remove transgenders who are currently serving. And with that, there's a man named Shane Ortega, or a woman who's now a man, who's been serving, who, of course, was upset by Trump's decision.
For myself personally, as a service member who's deployed 5 times, who has literally had to bury, more than 10 of my friends, I find this ludicrous.
I mean, do they have to drop out now? Are they going to be, what's the term? Come on, help me out. Oh, my God. What's the term? When you're asked to leave the military. Oh, my gosh. Seriously, it's hard to be blonde some days.
I'll let you wrestle with
discharge,
that.
Honorably discharged because they're transgender. Oh, you've been serving like this person, Shane, who's been, deployed several times. They're going to just tell him to go home. That's why I don't understand why he did this. And of course, everybody
I just
had
told
different.
You why he did it.
Well, to get funding for his border wall. But you're going to lose a fight and look heartless for funding for a border wall. I mean, how much does it cost for somebody's transgender reassignment surgery? About $100,000. So they said over the time it would cost $4 million with the people who might want to partake in that the government, they don't want to pay for their transgender surgery.
So I'm sorry, you support taxpayer-funded gender reassignment
No,
surgery?
I don't, but they...
Well, that's what you just...
the transgenders who have served honorably and who are still serving, I think they should leave them there. Don't honorably discharge them.
They should be grandfathered in.
Yeah.
What you're saying.
Sure, fine.
Well, there's some voices that don't get a lot of attention in the trans community. One is Walt Heyer. We've talked about him before. He transitioned back to his birth gender after getting reassignment surgery because it turned out that it didn't address the problems Walt Heyer thought it would address.
How do you go back?
Well, I think he made the right decision. As someone who has lived as a trans female for several years, I should know. Heyer says, allowing transgenders to serve is devastating to the fitness, readiness, and moral of our combat-ready troops. The military is a fighting force, not a gender clinic. And he said, if the military had been forced to pay, the advocates would have used this as leverage to press every other entity, both government and commercial, to pay for sex change surgeries as well. Well, I suspect he's right about that, because here's the thing that you find, and we know this locally too with Governor Rauner. You can be a politician who says he or she has no social agenda, but you're going to run into politicians who do. And so you're going to be forced to make choices. Because every law is a reflection of someone's morality. Every law is a reflection of the state of our social mores. And there are people that are interested in pushing the culture one way or the other. And those in elective office, particularly at the highest level of elective office, are going to be pressed to make decisions in one direction or the other. That's just reality. And Governor Rauner has found out that reality at the local level, too, on a range of issues.
Well, President Trump's announcement was met by, pushback, of course, from the left, but some on the right. Here's Senator Orrin Hatch.
People who are transgender, they don't choose to be transgender. They're born that way. And why should we hold that against them?
Yeah,
That's a whole...
Okay, Dr.
Other
Hatch.
issue, yeah.
There's...
You're born gay or you become gay. I mean, that's a whole... ancillary issue, but that's what his reaction to it was.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing. The science doesn't really back Orrin Hatch up, to no one's surprise. And so the question is, does it negatively impact cohesion, the whole shower matter? That's one issue. Here's another issue. There's substantial science that suggests that we're talking about a mental illness here. Yeah. And so if someone has a mental illness, does that negatively impact their ability to be a fighting man and woman, to add to the cohesion of the unit to which they are assigned, to be reliable with all that military men and women are responsible to do, particularly in a theater of battle? I mean, that I go back again to just remind people, and with a rhetorical question, why did Johns Hopkins University, where gender reassignment surgery started, why did they discontinue the practice? Because they're bigots? Because they don't ascribe to the Orrin Hatch's truth about the world? People are born this way? Because they don't like people who are perhaps mentally ill or confused or who disagree with them, because they just wanted to get out of that business? Or is it maybe something to do with patient outcomes? Is it maybe something to do with the understanding from a medical perspective, including a psychological perspective, this whole transgender business?
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment. Yesterday, Congresswoman Tammy Duckworth, a double amputee from the Iraq War, she said, I like what she said. She said, if the American troops risking their lives to help save me were gay, straight, transgender, or anything else, all that mattered was that they didn't leave me behind. So she sees this as discriminatory, obviously.
So what?
Well, I'm just saying she served and she was injured in the Iraq War, and she's just slamming his ban on transgender Americans.
So who cares what Tammy Duckworth says? So make some...
because she served.
Yeah.
She had boots on the ground.
Fascinating. Some sentimental PC pablum from somebody that is pandering to the progressive base of the Democrat Party. That's what that is. Did you hear what I said before? 41% of military families surveyed said it hurt military readiness. So that's just 41% of people who aren't in Congress. That's just actual rank and file military families. So this kind of deferring to politicians because they have a platform. You want to talk about George Takei's opinion or Tammy Duckworth's opinion, and I put them in the same category because they're both just celebutants at this point. I'm talking about Tammy Duckworth, the politician, because that's what she is. So the elevation of opinion based on title, no.
Well, how many people does this affect? I mean, I heard 15,000, then 9,000. Now they're saying 2,500 transgender service members are on active duty at this time, and 1,400 in the reserves.
Does the number matter? Why does the number matter?
Because we're talking about people who have dedicated their lives to the freedoms of America.
So why was the number matter? It could be one or it could be a million. Why does the number matter? It's the underlying principle.
I mean, are they afraid people are going to join the military so that they can get free reassignment surgery? Or this is all about funding?
By the way, the you want to, if you want to do anecdotal discussions of men and women who are, well, transgendered, trans men and women in the military. Okay, how about Bradley Manning? He just got out of prison,
Yeah, after we paid for his surgery.
Right, but you understood how reliable he was. I'm not saying that about every trans person in the military, but don't play this anecdote game with me. Oh, here's somebody who, this is what the Daily Beast had. America trusts this trans soldier with top secrets, but Trump doesn't trust him to serve. Talking about Jack Schuler, who is who entered the Marines in 2006 as Elise Schuler and now is Jack Schuler. Yeah, right. Okay, so here's your Jack Schuler, and I'll concede the point, and I got you Bradley Manning. So the issue is not about honorably serving or dishonorably serving. It's not about all of this category of person are trustworthy or all of this category of person are not trustworthy. It's the underlying substantive policy, the merits of it. Not about celebrities' opinions. Will and Skokie are on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. As a fellow who has 3 daughters, one is a transgender and 2 either are in or were in the military, I'm against it. First of all, the military is for killing people and breaking things. It's not for, social engineering. Secondly, transgender surgery is elective surgery. But you see, when people get in there and they start pulling the emotional strings, all of a sudden they get stuff paid for that you and I would have to pay for out of our pockets as opposed to insurance. Thirdly, being transgendered means you have a mental disease. You have a delusion that you are a sex that you are not. And I don't want people with delusions running around with weapons, okay? And I certainly wouldn't want to be in a foxhole with one of them. So that's just my opinion.
Thanks for the call, Will.
Send all letters to Bruce Wolf, who's ADD, and ADD people are not allowed in the military either.
Okay.
Thanks for the call.
Thanks, Will. All right.
He makes a point, though. Oh, he makes a lot of points, and he's in an interesting position to make them. Lewis in Dayton, Texas.
Morning, guys. How are you today?
Good.
I was a 10-year member of the United States Marine Corps, and some of the issues that arise from this is not only the financial of having to pay for the sex changes of these transgender individuals, but it's also, too, when you're in the military, as the last caller stated, a lot of medical conditions disqualify you. Bad backs, bad knees, knee surgeries, asthma, mental disabilities. And a lot of people see this as a mental disability. So this can be another reason for them to be disqualified if they come out openly and say they are transgender. The main issue for me, being a military member, is when we go out to the field and we go out into war. I deployed 6 times, 3 to Iraq, 3 to Afghanistan. There are no bathrooms. There are no bathroom breaks. There are no timeouts in war. Guess what? If you're a female and you're next to me and you have to use the bathroom, you're going to use it right next to me because I'm going to be holding up my weapon, and my fellow Marines are going to be holding up their weapons to guard you as you're doing that. So when these individuals are in wartime, if there ever is one, again, are they going to feel comfortable around me looking at them? Maybe not totally staring at them, but be around me as they're pulling their pants down, doing their business. And then if that's there, the other case to that comes is sexual harassment. You know, if you say something wrong in the military, if you make a comment to another individual and a female happens to walk by and hears you say it, that can be considered sexual harassment, and then you have to go to courses and classes and take all this stuff. Now, when you have these individuals that are transgender around and you may not know it and you make a comment, who's to say that they don't complain about you?
Yeah.
So it's not only the issue of money, it opens up a whole other ball of wax. There are multiple layers for people who never served, who were never in the military, who don't have a understanding of the structure and the way things work around there. There is at least 50 other things that go along with it, not including now you have to pay for your leaders in the military to go through specialized training to deal with this person, because when you're in a female unit, you actually have to go to training as a man, because you have to understand the female. You have to understand, what do you say to a woman? I mean, I hate to say it this way, who's on her period. And if you see blood or something like that, how do you pull her away in a way that is respectful?
Yeah.
And you don't embarrass her in front of other people.
Okay.
Thanks for the call, Lewis. Appreciate that.
I just keep thinking of Corporal Klinger from MASH. She would finally get honorably discharged.
That's true.
I mean, really, all the dresses and all the curlers.
His way out.
Yeah.
Finally his way out. There is something important that was a thread through Lewis's comments, though.
Yes.
It's something to remind people in terms of just where we start this conversation. Serving in the military is not a constitutional right. No one has a right to serve in the military. Understand that. It's an opportunity. Candace in DuPage.
Okay. I had to take this class, and this was in DuPage County, and there was somebody going through the change in there who looked just reminded me a lot of the guy from Silence of the Lambs. Okay, and
don't prejudge.
What I thought was interesting
Fava
was
beans and
he'd get
Chianti.
mad at me if I call him by his he. If I said he, and I finally said this is before the whole PC thing came down with Obama and transsexuals, before the policy stuff came out. And I said, well, you don't look like a she, so excuse me, but you have huge muscles and you're wearing a man tank top and you look like a he. But my other point I wanted to make is what creeps me out about him and others like him, because I used to work in a field where there were like a lot of gay people, they're always talking about turning people who are straight. And that I find very deviant about these people because, you know, they say, oh, let's get along, we just all want to be the same. No, they don't. There's some sexual deviancy there, in my opinion, because they get a huge thrill out of turning normal people and tricking them. He used to tell stories about how he would, like, not tell people when he was online dating about this. And then, like, you know, surprise. I have a problem with that.
Okay, thanks for the call, Candace, and recounting your run-in with Renee Richards. Appreciate that. Steve in Indianapolis, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yes, good morning. I just want to say that I've been on patrol with women in combat in Afghanistan, and the difference I noticed, I mean, because they were attached to us, not a part of us necessarily, but is that, you know, they do short patrols, not long patrols. They strip down their gear. Our gear is about, my combat gear weighed about 125 pounds, because usually they have to throw extra mortars and ammunition in your backpack to take out with you, or hand grenades, but they don't take any of that. So physically, they're not doing what everybody else does. They don't just grab their ruck and go. So when it comes to the mental status of going on patrol, the last thing I want if I was that patrol leader to also have to wonder, is your mind in the game of killing people and breaking things, or are you stuck in where you are gender-wise, and whether you're going to go back to the men's bunkhouse or the women's bunkhouse? And those conversations do occur once you're off patrol. There's the male and female battering back and forth if you're in the location, on the same location in the front lines. I mean, the social nature of this doesn't change, and I need everybody's focus on what we're doing out on the front line, not back here in your mental state, not thinking about what's in front of you on that ground.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Steve. Appreciate that.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Yes, indeed. Summertime. Another hot one. Wait, gonna be a little bit cooler today. Back to hot. Gonna be windy. Maybe a thunderstorm mixed in for good measure. Up and down and up and down. The climate is always changing. Your company's heating and cooling system really gets a workout in Chicagoland. Be ready for anything this summer. Call Air Comfort and get your business's cooling system tuned up and running at peak performance. You see, the Air Comfort problem solvers can find small problems before they become big problems. Plus, proper maintenance will keep your system from wasting energy and money. Air Comfort will make sure your equipment is clean and obstacle-free. And if your chiller is about to or has stopped working, they can install temporary solutions to keep you cool while the long-term fixes are put in place. The key to keep your climate from changing is preventative maintenance, and Air Comfort can help. Schedule a comprehensive assessment of your mechanical system today. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
You know, trust is the single most important factor in hiring a contractor. And Dependable Construction and its founder, Joe Babin, built their business over 3 decades by being trustworthy. Tuck pointing, brick and roofing is Joe's specialty because Joe started as a laborer and progressed to an expert tuck pointer and bricklayer. Now, in addition to masonry and roofing, Joe and Dependable Construction have grown to become a full-service Angie's List and Better Business Bureau award-winning contractor. For brick, masonry, and roofing on residential, commercial, or industrial projects, to any other type of remodeling or construction, you will deal directly with owner Joe Babin. So call Joe Babin at Dependable Construction, mention AM560, and receive a 10% discount on most jobs. Call 773-244-1091. That's 773-244-1091, or visit tuckpointchicago.net. Joe Babin, I promise you, will pick up the phone if you call this number, 773-244-1091 or tuckpointchicago.net.
AM560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
Is the beginning of the end of football upon us? We'll ask you if you're going to let your kids play football after the new study that was released this week. That's at 6:36.
All in time for the start of training camp. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
74 degrees, cloudy skies in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the lifetime advantage warranty. The Senate says no for now to a bill to repeal Obamacare without a replacement. The plan goes down in flames, 45 to 55. 7 Republicans joining Democrats in voting no. There are many more votes scheduled on similar legislation before the end of the week. Investigators looking into the death of a Utah woman on a cruise ship off the coast of Alaska. The FBI assisting local authorities trying to figure out what led up to the 39-year-old's death. 1 person is dead, 7 more hurt in a ride malfunction at the Ohio State Fair. Ohio Governor John Kasich.
It's a very tough night for the people of our state because of the loss of our citizens.
The accident happened yesterday evening when a row of seats on the Fireball ride broke free. A few veterans in Congress are critical of President Trump over his transgender military ban. The president announcing yesterday that those who are transgendered will not be allowed to serve openly in the U.S. military, citing medical costs and other factors. Democrat Senator Tammy Duckworth of Illinois, who is a veteran and a double amputee, called the policy discriminatory.
And if you want to serve this country and you want to risk your life to preserve our democracy, then you should be allowed to serve. In fact, diversity is what makes our military the greatest military on the face of the earth.
She says when she was injured, she didn't care about if those coming to serve and save her were gay or straight. 2 married couples are dead after a plane crash in Riverdale, Utah. The frantic last seconds of the small plane's flight were captured in audio between the plane and a tower at a major airport in Utah.
Hey, I'm going down, 0 Whiskey Bravo, 0 Whiskey. And then 60 Whiskey Bravo, Roger, clear to land. I just heard him go down, he's just hit the highway there.
The Weber County Sheriff's Office says Lane and Diana Clark, Perry and Sarah Huffaker died yesterday when their plane crashed on Interstate 15. 1 person is in custody after gunshots opened up on the south side near 79th and Yates after a 2-vehicle crash. They damaged a Chicago Fire Department truck hit by the gunfire after the accident. Taiwanese electronics giant Foxconn apparently passing up this state and several others to build a smartphone assembly plant in southeast Wisconsin. Police say a man shot and killed a doctor outside of a Northwest Indiana medical center, and the suspect committed suicide after fleeing the scene. Commander Tim Corbett with the St. Joseph County Metro Homicide Unit says Dr. Todd Graham was shot about 1 p.m. Wednesday in a parking lot outside of the St. Joseph Rehabilitation Institute in Mishawaka. Major civil rights groups are joining a class action lawsuit seeking to force the city of Chicago to reform the nation's second largest police force with direct court oversight. The NAACP and Chicago Urban League appearing as new plaintiffs in an amended complaint. Cubs cut down the White Sox 8-3. Training camp is here for the Bears. Soccer news, Gold Cup winners, the U.S. men's national team, after a 2-1 win over Jamaica. The news, a service of Mattress Firm. It's Mattress Firm's coolest sleep sale ever. Come in and get the latest cooling mattress technology. Get Hampton and Rhodes Pillow Top Queen mattresses for only $209.99 and get 0% APR for 6 years only at Mattress Firm. 6:34 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Home isn't just a place, it's the feeling of knowing you're safe. ADT lets you take that feeling with you. Learn more at ADT.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Dave Geiselhart, president and owner of Home Trust Mortgage and customer of Signature Bank. When the large banks turned away from the mortgage lending industry during the financial crisis, I turned to locally owned Signature Bank. Signature Bank stepped in and helped me expand our business at a time when the larger banks wouldn't. Today, I'm proud to say Home Trust Mortgage has been able to expand our business in Illinois and the Great Lakes region. We couldn't have done that without the help of Signature Bank. Signature Bank truly helps Chicago businesses like mine grow and thrive. That's why we also became personal customers and shareholders of Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
It's absolutely amazing that the combination of these capsules improves your health. It does tell you the value of food and nutrition.
I actually can feel a difference. I really can.
I love the product. It's wonderful. I can't live without it.
It's really helping me. Every time I take it, my body says, thank you.
This is the first winter that I went through that I didn't get a cold.
I love my fruits and veggies. I'm a line dancer, and I just turned 78, and it has made a big difference in my stamina and just my overall well-being, and I have so enjoyed them. I just love taking them and what they do for me.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
6:36. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the northbound tri-state, traffic is slow from the 83rd Street Toll Plaza to 31st Street. Farther north, it's stop and go from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. It's a significant delay, but not nearly as heavy as it was yesterday at this hour. Eden's 23 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction, outbound 20. The Kennedy, 27 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 24. About Eisenhower, 43 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, 35 minutes outbound. Stevenson now 59 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 38. The Rhine is 24 minutes from 95th to downtown. Traffic is a service of Staples. With free next-day delivery from Staples, you can run your business like a pro. Go to staples.com for the office essentials you need delivered next day free on eligible items only and orders over $49.99, placed by 5 p.m. Excludes weekends and holidays. Staples, it's pro time. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Clouds and sunshine today, high 82, becoming partly cloudy and 67 overnight. Currently 73. Next news coming up at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k specialist, whose goal is to protect, preserve, and grow your wealth. Saturday mornings at 7.
Some call me the sage from South Central. Others call me the czar of common sense. But you can call me Larry Elder. And you're invited to join me tonight, starting at 7, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
You know I never. Who sings this? Poison.
Yeah, Poison. That's terrible. What a terrible hair band. Oh, gosh. Terrible music.
Did they spit up fur balls? Hey, too soon. Too soon.
And then what's the front man's name again? Who was on that? He had like reality shows and stuff.
Oh, Twisted Sister?
No, the front man of Poison.
Brett Michaels. Brett Michaels.
Yeah.
He had pretty eyes. Is he still alive?
He's still alive. Although he did have a couple of near-death experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's still alive. So this just in, Brett Michaels still alive. In the top of the hour, we found out George Takei is still alive because he commented on Trump's reversal of the trans policy in the military. Now we know Brett Michaels is also still alive. Transitioning to the macabre.
You might not be alive if you play football.
Well, this study that was released this week and published in the AMA's medical journal found 99% of deceased NFL players' brains, 111 former NFL players, donated their brains to science for study of CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy, upon their passing. The research, 99%, 110 out of 111 brains that were examined had some stage of CTE.
And if you break it down, 44 were linemen, 20 were running backs, 17 defensive backs, 13 linebackers, 7 quarterbacks, 5 wide receivers. And it goes on and on. Punters, there was 1 punter, 1 place kicker, and 2 tight ends.
So CTE, again, neurodegenerative brain disease. The symptoms include memory loss, confusion, impaired judgment, aggression, depression, anxiety, impulse control loss, and sometimes suicidal behavior, as we have, of course, seen play out in the cases like Dave Duerson and Junior Seau, these tragic cases.
And their brains were part of that study.
Right. And it's important to note that in terms of properly assessing the stage of CTE, it can only be formally diagnosed with an autopsy. So this is why the decision by these former football players to donate their brains for research has been so important. The director of Boston University's CTE Center and co-author of the study, Ann McKee, there's no question that there's a problem in football, that people who play football are at risk for this disease, and we urgently need to find answers for not just football players, but veterans and other individuals exposed to repeated head trauma. I remember one of the first stories on this, I think it was done by the now deceased Frank DeFord for HBO for that Gumble to Gumble Beach Justice program that Brian Gumble hosts.
Oh, yeah.
Real Sports.
Real Sports, yes.
And it was Boston University researchers. And one of the things they found going back and investigating head trauma among athletes, Lou Gehrig had sustained a number of concussions during his baseball playing career. And so then it prompts the question, is there a connection between head trauma, repeated head trauma, and ALS as well? You remember Lou Gehrig playing in the era before helmets.
Right.
So that's the research in terms of where we understand it to this day. Maybe it doesn't come as a surprise to many now that we're learning more and more about this disease, and because there have been so many high-profile tragic incidents, a couple of which I just mentioned. So the question is, are you going to let, in your case, Amy, Peyton and Eli play football? Are you going to let your children play football?
Or your grandchildren play football?
Well, okay. But you're going to let kids that you have influence over play football, or is football a banned sport in your house? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line, 646-36DA, turnkey.pro text line. And this is, this conversation was started in part when you had high-profile Hall of Famers like Troy Aikman saying he didn't want his son to play football.
Mm-hmm. I mean, knowing this evidence and knowing what we know, is it even negligent for us to watch football and promote football and feed into the NFL? Because we know what it's doing to people. It's killing them. And if it's not killing them, it's making them have very painful last years on this planet.
Well, so
I mean, Mike Adamle, he has CTE. And he's when he goes out running, he has his address on a little placard on his shoe in case he gets lost, because he doesn't know when it's going to hit or when it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's
awful.
It is awful. I don't know if there's anything that can be done to blunt the impact of repeated impacts.
I know Riddell, the helmet company, has tried so many different helmets to stop this. But again, you don't know someone has CTE until they pass away.
They've changed the rules of the game.
Yeah.
To penalize you for leading with your head when it comes to tackling, for shots to the head on quarterbacks and all players now.
Yeah, but some still do it.
Well, of course it's going to happen. But the point is, the NFL is trying to address this while still preserving the game, because it's a $10 billion a year industry. And if you go to down one level to college football, I mean, you see stadiums all over the Midwest and the South with 100,000, 60, 70, 80, 100,000 people every Saturday during college football season. That's going to go away tomorrow. If your kid is a good football player, the prospect of a college scholarship, to cover his tuition.
You're going to turn that down?
Or just foreclose that opportunity altogether? I mean, I guess the question, too, is if now knowing what we now know and how broadly this information is being disseminated, people are making informed decisions. And I go to, what's his name, Chris Borland, the University of Wisconsin linebacker who played 1 year for the 49ers and was going to sign, a huge contract because he was a really good player. And after 1 year, he walked away, and he walked away from tens of millions of dollars because he didn't want to go down this path and wind up where so many other football players have been.
And then there's Hunter Hillenmeyer from the Bears. He, had a second concussion. He said, that's it. I started a family. My first responsibility is them now. But he's going to be, when he passes away, he's going to be donating his brain to see if he has CTE.
So if you're making an informed decision, if everybody understands the consequences, I mean, not a perfect analogy, but smoking. If you know that, hey, this just in, smoking is not good for you, and you do it anyway, that's you're free to do that, and will there be enough people that continue to do that voluntarily because of the upside, or even just the enjoyment of the game? I mean, a lot of guys like to play football. Nothing wrong with that either, except the potential consequences.
Did you ever play football?
I did through freshman year of high school, and then I switched to golf.
Safer.
I wish I would have played football instead. I hate golf so much.
Oh, because it turned down you this season? It's okay. You can get it back, Dan.
No, I don't. I hate it.
No, you don't. You love it. You're going back. You're going back today, aren't you?
I hate golf.
Keep the little white ball. Just hit it straight.
Golf is so mean to me. Greg in Schaumburg, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan and Amy. I'll tell you where I think it's going to really have a big impact is on the high school level. My high school is one of the big football schools in Ohio, and you can't get insurance probably. Look at that report. If it's 99%, and any one of those kids decides to sue the school's in hot water. They can't afford the insurance for the program.
That's a good point, Greg. That is a very good point. Thanks for the call. That's where you may go. You may have the legal and financial exposure be such that you discontinue programs. Because obviously you've got trial lawyers out there. I mean, there was that huge settlement the NFL preemptively made to try and forestall more litigation on the topic. But you're talking about going all the way down to the Pee Wee football level, particularly when it comes to rapacious trial lawyers. I should note, too, in this study, they looked at, so it was 110 of 111 brains of deceased former NFL players. But the study was broader than that. Out of 202 deceased former football players total, that's a combination of high school, college, and professional, CTE was diagnosed in 177. So 177 out of 202 at all levels, 110 out of 111 at the NFL level.
Those are pretty amazing statistics.
Pretty daunting numbers, aren't they? Bob in Schaumburg, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, guys. If they're going to ban football, you may want to look at soccer and boys lacrosse, too, because there's just as much head contact in those sports as it goes through. But my main question was, if they're looking only at football players, how do they know that something else, maybe in the environment, may be the cause of this stuff? By limiting the test subject, you can't really have a blind study to really make a good judgment on it.
Well, okay, thanks for the call, Bob. I mean, a couple of things. One is, soccer, you're right. I mean, the most concussions, particularly at the amateur level, occur in soccer. However, every play in football is a car crash. That's not the case in soccer. So it's not just the impacts where you have concussion. It's every single play is crashing into you. So there is a critical mass through repetitive hammering of each other, and that doesn't happen in lacrosse and soccer. In terms of the control group, I don't know the full methodology that these researchers at Boston U pursued. And it's not reported. The reports describe what they did, the investigation they did, but I presume they followed the scientific method. These researchers at Boston U, the CTE Center, their previous studies have been peer reviewed. I haven't seen any criticism of the methodology here, so I would suspect that they're able to look at these brains of deceased NFLers, to use the example, compare those to brains of people that are similarly situated in similar age groups, and make determinations about deterioration in terms of what's the difference between the experience of Dave Dewerson and other 55-year-old men in terms of their brain condition, generally speaking. So anyway, but Boston U here, the integrity of their research has not been questioned that I've seen to this point.
Dan in Palatine, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, thank you. First of all, I think it was Bernie Goldberg, not before.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah. Thanks, Dan.
It's just funny because he's the only conservative Gumbo will talk to, so that's why I know that.
Okay.
One thing, I would obviously like to see a larger sample size including other sports, but there's obviously no doubt that football does have more of an occurrence of violent contact. One thing people never talk about with football, and I played football, I played a little college football, then I actually played rugby. There's this very, very distinct difference in how you go in and tackle in football because you have all this equipment on. You are invincible with all this equipment. And you go in and you're more apt to lead with your head. There's no more form tackling occurring nowadays because they have all this crazy light space-aged equipment. And people aren't being taught correctly how to tackle like they tackled back 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So these are very good baseline to compare it to football. I'd like to see some brains from rugby players. Very violent sport, but they tackle correctly.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, Dan. Thanks for the call. I mean, the idea that more and safer padding actually incentivizes more reckless conduct rather than going back to, the Decatur Staley's era of leather helmets, and you have form tackling people not leading with their head but leading with their arms and getting to the legs, and that's how you're taking a guy down.
You tried out for that team, right? Back in the day.
The Decatur, I would, right. It was a forerunner. Me and Papa Bear House.
Yeah, that was good. You guys were good
founders.
together.
Yeah.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one, Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
I'm Keith Peters in for Lou Dobbs. Britain wants to phase out gas and diesel vehicles. Whole Foods profit drops again, and Coke Zero gets a name change. Those stories next.
Have you racked up more than $10,000 in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? You should know. The credit card companies are tricking you into thinking there's no way out. Credit card companies would rather you didn't know that there are ways you can become debt-free and you don't have to pay the entire amount you owe. There are debt relief programs that help people like you escape overwhelming credit card debt. National Debt Relief has helped tens of thousands of people just like you reduce more than $500 million of debt. National Debt Relief has helped so many people, they're A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau. You don't have to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan. You have the right to settle your debt for a mere fraction of what you owe. Reduce a portion of your debt now. Call National Debt Relief at 800-975-5115. 800-975-5115. That's 800-975-5115.
The TSA has announced new, tougher screening procedures for electronics at airports. Anything larger than a cell phone will now have to be placed in a separate bin for X-raying. In an effort to tackle pollution, Britain will ban the sale of new cars and vans using diesel and gas starting in 2040. France and Norway have announced similar plans. Whole Foods is reporting a profit decline after same-store sales dropped for the 8th straight quarter. The food giant hopes to close a $13.7 billion deal to be acquired by Amazon later this year. Coke Zero is about to become Coke Zero Sugar. The company says the name change will clarify that the drink has no calories. And we're standing by for the latest data on jobless claims and durable goods. Please tune in to Lou Dobbs tonight at 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. I'm Keith Peters for the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Upstream-ideas.com, premium content that complements what we do each morning on this show. It's our digital platform featuring long-form interviews and our Against the Current series this week. Cook County Board of Review Commissioner Dan Patlack on property taxes in Illinois, as well as Man on the Street, Follow the Logic segments, podcasts of our Illinois Rising program, which airs Sundays at 3 p.m. And covers Illinois politics and policy, talking school funding this week, of course. My 60 Seconds of Sanity commentaries this week on the NEA, the nation's largest teachers union, which townhall.com picked up too, I'm happy to say. So you can check that out, as well as our new segment, new series, Heart of the Matter, which is professional women discussing the salient issues of the day, colleague to colleague. It's all at upstream-ideas.com.
Yestival, starring Yes, fresh from their induction to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. One of the most influential bands of all time. Saturday, August 19th, 7 p.m., Grand Victoria Casino, with performances by Todd Rundgren and Carl Palmer of ELP Legacy, featuring Carl's tribute to Keith Emerson and Greg Lake. Tickets on sale now at gvctickets.com. Part of the Grand Victoria Summer Concert Series. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Do you crave work that matters? 20 years ago, Bob Buford's book, Halftime, took business leaders from success to significance in their work. That book started a movement and the Halftime Institute. Now, from Institute CEO Dean Nawalny comes the next new powerhouse book, Trade Up. Building on Bob's legacy, Trade Up shows marketplace leaders how to not just make money, but make a difference. If the words smoldering discontent describe you, then trade up. Go to halftime.org. That's halftime.org.
Hey, Turnkey IT, it is the place to call if you own a business and you have a large computer network or a medium or a small size network and you want some insurance for your computer. Turnkey IT can help you over the phone, or they can make house calls if necessary. And they're there 24/7 to make sure that there are no problems in the background. So basically, they find problems before they rise to the surface. For more information, go to turnkey.pro. We know David Kolsek, his family. They're beautiful people. It's a locally owned and operated company. Turnkey IT. Go to turnkey.pro. That's turnkey.pro.
When you're hiring for a growing business, you don't need lots of candidates. You need the right candidates. You need Indeed.com. With an algorithm that positions your job post where quality candidates are and screener questions that help you zero in on the best talent. Indeed.com, the site proven through an independent study to deliver 5 times more hires than any other. New users claim your $50 credit for a sponsored job at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Ransomware is software that can infiltrate your business through email, enabling cyber criminals to hijack sensitive information as ransom for your own data's release. Leveraging Barracuda email security with advanced threat detection can stop a ransomware attack in its tracks. As an added measure, Barracuda Backup allows you to recover your data without having to surrender to extortion. Crime doesn't pay when you protect your business data with Barracuda. Go to barracuda.com/ransomware to learn more.
How would you like to make an extra $1,200 to $7,800 monthly, safely investing in real estate tax lien certificates? Hi, I'm Tony Martinez, co-founder of USTLA, and over the last 20 years, I've been investing in tax lien certificates, making 16% to 25% secured fixed returns while acquiring highly discounted properties mortgage-free. Now, I want to show you how to with my 50-page revealing report called Proof: Why Tax Lien Certificates Are the Superior Vehicle for Your Financial Success. In my report, you'll learn where to find tax lien certificates, how to safely earn 16 to 25% secured fixed returns, and how to acquire valuable real estate at huge discounts, mortgage-free. Now, for a limited time, I'll give anyone that calls a free copy of my powerful new report.
Call 800-220-1788 now to get Tony's free report. Call 800-220-1788 in the next 30 minutes, and Tony will give you 2 free tickets to his live training coming to the Chicago area, a $300 value. Call 800-220-1788. That's 800-220-1788 for your free report now.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I've been on vitamins, I've been on all kinds of supplements, but nothing has come close to your product. The difference between before I started the product and afterwards is like night and day. I do have more energy, and that was what I really was after. I get all these benefits. It's wonderful. I had no energy at all, and I thought, how can I live this way? I do one little chore, and then I have to sit and rest. And I find that I get through the day pretty well, and I really have more energy. I look in the mirror and I say, I think I feel more alive. I think I look more alive.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer,
we'll get a reaction to Trump's reversal of the military's trans policy from Jed Babin, former U.S. Deputy Undersecretary of Defense, at 7:07.
And look who may be on the next season of Dancing with the Stars. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're watching right now. The City Council approves a massive red light camera settlement The latest from AM 560's David Stewart on that story. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
Don't let the American people down. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what President Trump just tweeted, writing, "Come on, Republican senators, you can do it on health care." The day after another Obamacare repeal plan fell short. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, it could be a late night tonight in the Senate. Lawmakers will meet for a session called a vote-a-rama to add a flurry of amendments to the health care bill. Democrat Elizabeth Warren says they'll continue to put up a fight.
Beat back these shameful health care bills.
Vice President Mike Pence told Fox's Tucker Carlson,
Obamacare is dead. This system is collapsing around us.
One plan under consideration is a so-called skinny bill, rolling back the individual mandate and some taxes. Dave.
Rachel, all the rides at the Ohio State Fair will be shut down today for safety checks after a disaster on the Fireball last night.
One person is deceased as a result of this incident.
State Highway Patrol Colonel Paul Pride, 7 others were injured, 3 critically, when the ride that swings up to 40 feet in the air and spins broke apart, sending people flying and then into the ground.
The ride, which malfunctioned so horribly here at the Ohio State Fair, was inspected at several stages and signed off as safe.
Stacey Fry with Fox 8 in Columbus. In Alabama, a teenager struck by lightning at his home yesterday on the porch has died. The lightning ran through the tree, jumped to the boy, went through his body, and then exited his foot into the ground. Medical teams worked for 15 to 20 minutes trying to revive him, but it didn't work. Justin Bieber got into an accident last night. That's from RMG News. What you heard is the pop star's pickup truck hitting a photographer, one of several who had crowded around Bieber before he drove off in Beverly Hills. Bieber got out of the truck, asked if the guy was okay. He was taken to a hospital, but his injuries are not said to be life-threatening. Bieber was not charged by police. The other day, he had canceled the rest of his tour. Fox News, fair and balanced.
74 degrees, cloudy skies. We have a improving day ahead weather-wise. We'll get to that forecast in just a moment. In the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom, Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. Gunfire broke out early this morning. Those gunshots damaged a Chicago Fire Department truck on the south side. Police say firefighters were responding to a 2-vehicle crash early this morning near 79th and Yates when a fight broke out between people involved in the accident, and gunfire erupted after a third person called to the scene brought a gun. No injuries reported. The gunman was arrested. Charges are pending. Taiwanese electronics giant Foxconn apparently passing up the state of Illinois, Pennsylvania, and many other states, and will build a smartphone assembly plant just across the Illinois border in southeast Wisconsin. In U.S. House Speaker Paul Ryan's district, it may employ 10,000. Chicago City Council agreeing to pay $39 million to settle a class action lawsuit against its red light and speed camera operation, but there was controversy on the city council floor, as AM 560's David Stewart reports.
Under the settlement, the million or so car owners won't see a windfall, but the attorneys who brought the suit over a lack of adequate notification will get $11 million, a fact that rankled Alderman Anthony Beal.
And so the blood-sucking attorneys found a way to use, once again, the people who can least afford to pay, use them to get $11 million, cash they check, and then gonna hand you a check for $7 and say, thank you so much, have a nice day.
Payout amounts will depend on how many people apply and could range from an average $7 to an average $42. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
After a lightly attended special session on school funding in Springfield, the director of Illinois' mental health agency was called to the microphones. She chastised Senate President John Cullerton. She said he needs to watch what he says about people battling mental illness after comments about the governor's mental state. Cullerton, who's sparring with Governor Bruce Rauner over school funding, says he hasn't sent the governor the Democrat school plan because of the governor's mental state. Division of Mental Health Director Diane Kanabe says it should be beneath the Senate president to try and score any political points by accusing someone of a mental illness. Cubs cut down the White Sox 8-3 on the south side. Training camp is here for the Bears. Last night, U.S. men's national soccer team celebrating a Gold Cup championship with a win over Jamaica. The news service of NTB. Get your 5-quart conventional oil change today, just $19.99 plus $3 disposal fee for tires, oil service, and repairs National Tire and Battery. That's all you need. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Message and data rates may apply.
Does forgetting your password make your blood boil? If technology is supposed to make life easier, then why is it so difficult to log into apps and websites? We're about to simplify your life now by giving you free access to Dashlane, the award-winning app that remembers and protects all of your passwords, making it easy to securely access all of your accounts. Get Dashlane free for life on your favorite device right now by texting PASS to 543-543. Dashlane makes life online blissfully simple, safe, and secure. Trusted by over 7 million users and 6,000 companies. Top-rated in functionality, security, and ease of use. Honored with over 70,000 five-star ratings. Dashlane, where passwords are never lost, never forgotten, and always secure. Unlock free access to Dashlane for life on your favorite device right now by texting PASS to 543-543. After texting, please enjoy a sigh of relief. That's PASS to 543-543.
When was the last time you walked out of a mattress store feeling confident about your purchase? These places exist for one reason: for a highly trained, commission-driven salesperson to dupe you into spending way too much money on a mattress. Hi, my name is Neil, and I'm one of the co-founders of Casper. Casper was created with a single goal in mind: deliver a great night's sleep at an incredible value. So we hired a team of engineers and designers to develop a single perfect mattress that sleeps cool and has just the right sink and bounce. We sell the Casper mattress online, skipping the markups of mattress stores, and we let you try it out in your own home for 100 nights risk-free. In less than 3 years, we've rapidly become the internet's favorite mattress. In fact, it now has more than 20,000 reviews with an average of 4.8 stars. Try us out today.
Simply go to Casper.com and use code RESTED to get $50 towards your mattress purchase. Terms and conditions apply. That's gift code RESTED at Casper.com for $50 towards your mattress purchase. Casper.com. Thanks for checking us out.
7:07. Let's get an update on the roads. In our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center this morning, here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Mike. Metro reports delays on the Union Pacific North line after there was a truck stuck on the tracks at Oakwood Avenue. Port Barrington, Rawson Bridge still closed due to flooding in Roberts and Tuxedo Lane. The Edens is 20 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 22 at Kennedy. Now 39 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 17 from Montrose, 13 in the Express. Outbound 15 minutes to Montrose, 33 to O'Hare. On Eisenhower, 45 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 35. Stevenson, 54 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 42. On Ryan, 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 17 minutes from I-80 to the merge. The northbound Tri-State has slow traffic from 95th to the Hinsdale Oasis, then from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Northbound Veterans Memorial, heavy 75th to the Reagan Tollway. The other tollways are good. No delays to report on I-80 or in Northwest Indiana. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Clouds and sun today with a high 82, then becoming partly cloudy for the night, low 67. Sun and patchy clouds tomorrow, high 79, and a mainly clear night, low 62. Full day of sunshine Saturday, high 79. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
73 at O'Hare. Next news, 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Power Trading Radio. Heard Sundays at 2 p.m. Brought to you each week by Online Trading Academy.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Don't look now. We've talked about it earlier this week. But we have an actual news story when it comes to the 2016 election. And it has nothing to do with the Trumps. It has to do with former DNC head Debbie Waserman Schultz, whose IT guy was arrested.
Oh, yeah.
The other day, Tuesday, I think, by the FBI. Imran Awan,
The millionaire.
His wife, his brothers, Ebed and Jamal, and Ebed's wife, Natalia, provided IT services to Debbie Wasserman Schultz and dozens of lesser Democrat congressmen since about 2004. The family's salaries totaled upwards of $5 million during that time.
Do they know that they're getting ripped off? Wow.
At the same time, the Awans ran a full-time Virginia car dealership, amusingly called Cars International A, or CIA. I mean, is this an episode of The Americans, or is this a real? This is a true story. They're Pakistani natives. That's their heritage. The wife of Wani. Imran, right? The wife of Imran Awan fled in March.
Yeah, with $12,000 in her pocket.
Mm-hmm. She's not coming back.
I can't imagine why.
And he initiated a wire transfer of about $300,000 to Pakistan. This is relatively recently, while he was under FBI investigation.
They found smashed hard drives in his office, and
right, the seizure of broken hard drives from the garage of Awan's former home. The hard drives have been smashed with a hammer.
Democrats love to ruin things with hammers. You notice their little pattern here, whether it's cell phone or hard drives?
Well, Mark Stein makes the point, whether it was the same ceremonial DNC hammer used to smash Hillary's BlackBerries has not yet been determined. So here's the thing. For inept, broke car dealers, the Awans somehow made themselves indispensable to powerful Democrats, among them those on sensitive committees such as Intelligence and Foreign Affairs, including Andre Carson in Indiana, Joaquin Castro, one of those Bond villain twins that the Democrats like so much, Lois Frankel, our own Robin Kelly.
Oh, yeah.
Ted Lieu, Jackie Spire. There's a lot of Democrat computers, Stein writes, to wind up in the hands of one family of Pakistani immigrant car dealers. And 5 months ago, Stein goes on to recount, the cops began closing the net on the family. That's when representatives, Democrat representatives that were using their services, started to dissociate. Representative Gregory Meeks of New York.
Oh, we'd heard him earlier this week.
Yeah. He's a big proponent of Trump impeachment. He fired Mrs. Awan on February 28th. Representative Marcia Fudge of Ohio fired Awan on March 1st. But Debbie Wasserman Schultz did not fire Awan until yesterday, after his arrest at the airport. She spent 5 months digging in with the guy. Why?
What are they trying to hide?
What does Awan know, and why does she feel the need to protect him? Listen to Debbie Wasserman Schultz questioning the head of Capitol Police. When can she get her stuff back? She wants her stuff back. They're investigating the alleged hack and break-in at DNC. She's not interested in the truth. She wants her stuff back.
Don't touch my stuff.
Listen to this.
If a member loses equipment and it is found by the Capitol Police or your staff, and it is identified as that member's equipment, and the member is not associated with any case, and that is their equipment, it is supposed to be returned. Yes or no?
Depends on the circumstances, and if the circumstances are.
I don't understand how that's possible. Members' equipment is members' equipment. It is not. Under my understanding, the Capitol Police is not able to confiscate members' equipment when the member is not under investigation. It is their equipment, and it's supposed to be returned.
Well, I think there's extenuating circumstances in this case, and I think that working through my counsel and the necessary personnel, if that in fact is the case, and with the permission of through the investigation, then we'll return the equipment. But until that's accomplished, I can't return the equipment.
I think you're violating the rules when you conduct your business that way, and should expect that there will be consequences.
There will be consequences.
Was she transitioning? What's wrong with her voice?
That's how
she
talks.
Is that her tough talk? Like, I'm talking to you right now.
Yeah, those curls.
And I need my stuff back.
The curls in her perm are a little tight. But here's the thing. Maybe she should be under investigation.
It sounds like
if a member is not under investigation, maybe, Representative Wasserman Schultz, maybe you should be. By the way, one of our alert listeners, who's also a tech nerd, points out the Pakistanis are way stations for intel forwarding to Russia and China. So now we have an actual news story here. Somebody's been arrested, paid a bunch of money. The wife has fled. You've got smashed physical evidence. Okay. For more on this topic, as well as the trans policy reversal by Trump, we're pleased to be joined by our friend Jed Babin. He is former United States Deputy Undersecretary of Defense, and now he is a contributor to the Washington Times and the American Spectator. Jed, thanks for joining us.
Hi, guys.
Well, before we get to the military trans policy, what about this developing story around Debbie Waserman Schultz?
Well, I've been listening for the past 10 minutes or so, and basically the point is not the money. It's got nothing to do with it. The point is these people had access to top secret information, and they're not just a way station for possibly a way station for funneling intelligence to Russia and China. How about to Al-Qaeda? How about to the Taliban? The people who are accessing this information could have, basically been in a position to warn a terrorist enemy about when we were going to attack them. And the real point here is Debbie Waserman Schultz and company have been apparently comfortable with this. This case has been going on not just recently. It's been going on for at least 2 years, to my knowledge. And that's something that should have been investigated much more quickly. It should have been brought to a halt much more quickly. And the Democrat members who are implicated in this should have their conduct investigated. And let's find out exactly what secrets were divulged.
Well, why did it take 2 years? I mean, and Debbie Wasserman Schultz finally fired him the other day?
Well, we don't know. I mean, it probably took 2 years because the Democrats are not cooperating and congressional committees are not cooperating. So, that's kind of a tough thing for the people to investigate. And quite frankly, I think a lot of this investigation was done first by the Capitol Police, not by the FBI.
Yeah, right.
And they're not exactly the most capable investigative unit we've got.
Well, so
there's a lot of feet dragging here.
Yeah, and so does that owe some responsibility to Republicans? I mean, why aren't they amping up the review of these matters?
Well, another good question. I mean, Lord only knows why they're doing what they're doing, and frankly, they're not doing much. So the Republican leadership, what else are they doing? They really ought to be investigating things because God knows they're not doing anything productive.
Well, and yesterday, the House Judiciary Committee voted to request documents about former FBI Director Comey's conversations with the Obama administration and journalists in pursuit of this leaking matter that President Trump is none too happy about in terms of the aggressive posture they haven't taken with respect to pursuing leakers.
Well, I mean, the congressional requests are proper, and maybe they'll be answered eventually. But those are the kinds of things that don't get answered quickly. And, quite frankly, the president has a point. I mean, I don't agree with the way he's making his point. I think, Attorney General Sessions is certainly not worthy of the kind of bashing the president's been doing of him the past week. I think that's ridiculous. I think it's spiteful and petty. And I think the president should back down and, quite frankly, apologize to Sessions.
All right, speaking of President Trump, yesterday in just 3 tweets, he reversed a military policy on transgenders serving in the military. Do you think this is political or about a budget?
Well, it's a little bit of a lot of different things. But Amy, it's neither of those two. At least it shouldn't be. The real question is, does a social policy increase the lethality of the force? If it doesn't, it shouldn't go on. And this is a policy that had not really been implemented yet. It's something that the Obama administration dreamed up and decided to go with. So Mr. Trump was right in stopping it dead cold. And it's also about a budget issue. Why should the taxpayers pay for transgender surgery for soldiers? It just does not make any sense to me at all. So the basic point here is there's no evidence to suggest that Obama's policy would have increased the lethality of the force. For that reason alone, Trump is exactly right in reversing that policy.
And so what's the message, the sentimentality from the left, which is their calling card, is you have these trans men and women serving honorably in the military right now. You're just going to throw them out. What message does that send?
No, it's a good message. It's exactly the right message. There's no right to serve in the military. No one has a constitutional right to do that. You're not going to have blind people serving. You're not going to have other kinds of, people who are disqualified physically from serving. And I don't know what the issue is with transgender people. it doesn't matter to me. Again, if it does not increase the lethality of the force, those people on the left who are whining about it should just go pound sand.
Well,
what they're saying is completely irrelevant.
See, I disagree. I think the people that are serving currently should be grandfathered in. I mean, if they're performing to the, well, they interviewed this guy, Shane Ortega, former woman, and served 5, has been, called up 5 times, and he has been serving honorably, and nobody's complained about him. So why does he have to leave?
Well, why he has to leave is, at very least, it is not demonstrated that him serving increases the lethality of the force. You're talking one person. Is this a clerk? Is this a truck driver? I mean, quite frankly, those people are irrelevant to the force anyway. So the fact of the matter is, unless you have full attention paid to the lethality of the force, nothing else really counts.
I want to go back to Sessions. Sessions as a proxy for Mueller, I mean, in terms of it being a target of Trump's tweeting. And what you think would be the result and what you think the judiciousness is of firing Mueller at this stage or trying to get a new AG who would do that dirty work for the president?
Well, I think if that's what the president is up to and he wants to get Mueller fired, and it may very well be, I think he's going about it the wrong way. I think it would be a political firestorm to try to fire Mueller at this point. I think the president would not be impeached over it, but I think he'd have an awful lot more trouble on Capitol Hill, although how much more trouble he can possibly have is not obvious to me. I mean, the real question here is, if he wants to fire Mueller, he can do it. It would be extremely unwise. The real thing they should be doing, and quite frankly, Rod Rosenstein has a lot to answer for, they should never have given Mueller a carte blanche to go out and investigate what he wants to investigate. The real thing to do about Mueller is his investigation should be reined in to the question of Russian collusion and nothing else. There's nothing about Mr. Kushner's business relationships. I mean, things like this are not relevant to what should be going on in an investigation. So if they want to do something about Mueller, rein him in. It's probably even too late for that, thanks to Rod Rosenstein giving him this carte blanche charter to go and investigate Mr. Trump.
He is Jed Babin, former U.S. Deputy Undersecretary of Defense and contributor to the Washington Times and the American Spectator. Jed, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
President Trump's not letting it go. I mean, when Sessions was at the White House yesterday, Trump was tweeting, "Why didn't AG Sessions replace acting FBI Director Andrew McCabe, a Comey friend who was in charge of Clinton investigation but got big dollars, $700,000 for his wife's political run from Hillary Clinton?"
Jed Babin is right. Trump should stop tweeting about Sessions post-haste.
Forecast for today, we are going to have some sunshine and some temperatures that are average for this time of year, a high of 82 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 67. And for Friday, sunshine, high clouds, a high near 80 degrees. Let's get into our alarm detection systems. Traffic Center, here is Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Dan. Good morning. Eastbound 8094. Traffic stop and go. Bird to Grant Street. Got a crash there blocking the right lane. Eden's just 20 minutes like Cook to the junction. Outbound 23. Kennedy. 32 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 33 minutes. The inbound Eisenhower. 49 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. 36 from Manheim. Outbound 36 to Thorndale. Stevenson now an hour and 2 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 42 minutes. The Ryan is 28 minutes. 95th to downtown. I-57 to 16 minutes. I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford 17. Northbound Tri-State heavy. 95th to the Hinsdale Oasis. And from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Veterans Memorial slow 75th to Roosevelt. And from the Army Trail Toll to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Finding great candidates to hire can be, well, like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along. Which is why you should try ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is different. It doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. With its powerful technology, ZipRecruiter distributes your job everywhere it needs to be to find the right candidates. In fact, over 80% of jobs on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just one day. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
used by businesses of all sizes. ZipRecruiter offers the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
If you have pain, listen up. Dennis Prager here. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You don't have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. So, Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of its side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com.
I love my Catholic school. My teachers help me to succeed academically. In fact, students at the Catholic schools in the Joliet Diocese are ahead in every category academically by 20 to 30 points compared to national norms. And 92% of 7th graders meet or exceed growth expectations in reading, language, math, science, and social studies.
You just heard my daughter talk about why she loves her Catholic school. And as a parent, I may not be able to control what is happening in our culture, but I can control how my children are educated. I do that by sending them to a Catholic school where they are formed in the image of Jesus Christ so that they have the moral foundation to make the right choices based on the teachings of the Catholic Church. If you want to provide your child with a moral compass to navigate our culture, consider sending him or her to a Catholic school.
Now you can join me at my school. Participating Catholic schools in the Joliet Diocese in conjunction with the Catholic Education Foundation are offering transfer grants of $1,500 to elementary school students and $3,000 to high school students who transfer from a public school. Restrictions apply. For more information, go to weteachmore.com.
How would you like to make an extra $1,200 to $7,800 monthly, safely investing in real estate tax lien certificates? Hi, I'm Tony Martinez, co-founder of USTLA, and over the last 20 years, I've been investing in tax lien certificates making 16% to 25% secured fixed returns while acquiring highly discounted properties mortgage-free. Now, I want to show you how to with my 50-page revealing report called Proof Why Tax Lien Certificates Are the Superior Vehicle for Your Financial Success. In my report, you'll learn where to find tax lien certificates, how to safely earn 16 to 25% secured fixed returns, and how to acquire valuable real estate at huge discounts mortgage-free. Now, for a limited time, I'll give anyone that calls a free copy of my powerful new report.
Call 800-220-1788 now to get Tony's free report. Call 800-220-1788 in the next 30 minutes, and Tony will give you 2 free tickets to his live training coming to the Chicago area, a $300 value. Call 800-220-1788. That's 800-220-1788 for your free report now.
Hi, I'm Jay Farner, CEO of Quicken Loans. Every day people ask me, Jay, did I miss out? Have the rates gone up? The answer is no. Rates are still low, and it's a perfect time to refinance your home, especially if your mortgage rate is higher than 4.25%. If you'd like to lower your interest rate and save thousands of dollars in interest without starting over on a new 30-year loan, a Quicken Loans Yorgage is what you're looking for. With our exclusive Yorgage, you can choose a term that works best for you, anywhere from 8 to 30 years. The rate today on an 8-year Yorgage is 3.25%, APR 3.75%. For 7 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation for customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 3rd year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Call us today at 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So the U.S. Senate continues to vote on the cusp of their vote-a-palooza, just to kind of pass the time, not to do much.
Oh, no, we got skinny repeal.
I know
but
you're
we'll explain
skinny
that.
repeal. Yeah.
It's like my skinny margarita or skinny wine.
You want to have a skinny margarita with your skinny repeal. Wednesday afternoon, a measure that would have repealed major portions of Obamacare without replacement went down. 7 Republicans voting against it. Shelley Moore Capito, West Virginia, Susan Collins, of course, Dean Heller, Nevada, Rob Portman, Ohio, Lamar Alexander, Tennessee, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, and John McCain of Arizona. So straight repeal without a replace seems unlikely, as we have suggested. And here's where we're going. Don't believe us about single payer. Don't believe conservatives who've warned about this and are going to want to hold Republicans responsible for failure to reach consensus on a replace and to do so post-haste. You heard Senate Minority Leader Pagliacci on Clinton Foundation Zero show on Sunday talking about single payer being on the table. How about hearing from our own esteemed senior senator, Dick Sack-Durbin, on the topic?
This is the last gasp. What we're going through now is the last gasp for private health insurance in America, as far as I'm concerned. If we can't make this work with the private health insurance industry, we start moving closer to a Medicare model. From my point of view, Medicare has a lot of positive things to offer the American people. How many folks say, darn it, now I qualify for Medicare? Most of them say, hooray, I don't have to worry about pre-existing conditions. I paid into it. I can get the best hospitals and doctors, and I have peace of mind. That's what people are looking for in health insurance. And if the private health insurance industry can't make the current approach work, we're moving closer and closer to the single-payer option.
See what he's done there? The government destroys the marketplace and then blames the marketplace so the government can take over the marketplace. That's what Dick Durbin is doing. And because Republicans have ceded the turf on entitlements like Medicare and Medicaid, he uses the Medicare program as the example. It's going to be Medicare for everyone. That's where we're going, folks. Republican caucus in the Senate, President Trump.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll talk to former House Intel Chairman Mike Rogers. He's also a former FBI special agent about these concurrent investigations on both sides of the political spectrum at 7:37.
And later, why Scaramucci accuses Priebus of leaking and is asking for the FBI investigation.
You got to say it right.
Scaramucci,
There you go.
Now let's go to Mike Cascata in the newsroom.
75 and partly sunny skies in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. We're following breaking developments out of the Justice Department this morning, where Attorney General Jeff Sessions has announced he's flying to El Salvador on a mission to find ways to stamp out the brutal street gang MS-13. The White House insisting that President Trump's ban on transgenders in military service was based on what's best for the military. Yesterday, House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi disagreed.
This morning's tweets reveal a president with no respect for the courageous men and women who risk their lives to defend our freedoms.
Senators voting down a repeal of Obamacare without a replacement yesterday.
On this vote, the yeas are 45, the nays are 55. The amendment is not agreed to.
Many more votes are expected on different plans before the end of the week. One person is dead after an accident on the opening day of the Ohio State Fair. Ohio Governor John Kasich says it's a tragedy not just for the fair, but for the entire state.
It's a very tough night for the people of our state because of the loss of our citizens.
7 others were hurt when a row of seats flew off the Fireball ride yesterday evening. One person is in custody this morning after gunshots rang out and damaged a Chicago Fire Department truck on the south side. It happened after a 2-vehicle crash near 79th and Yates. Police say a man shot and killed a doctor outside a Northwest Indiana medical center, and the suspect then committed suicide after fleeing the scene. Dr. Todd Graham was shot around 1 p.m. Wednesday outside the St. Joseph Rehabilitation Institute in Mishawaka. Major civil rights groups are joining a class action lawsuit seeking to force Chicago to reform the nation's second-largest police force without direct court oversight. Politically this morning, Indiana Representative Luke Messer is formally announcing he will challenge Democrat Senator Joe Donnelly in 2018 in Indiana. Donnelly is considered one of the most vulnerable Senate Democrats. And this morning, authorities in Florida say a missing woman with dementia has been found by a police dog because she bottled her scent. Citrus County Sheriff's Office says the anonymous elderly woman went missing from her home for about 2 hours on Tuesday. Fortunately, she had preserved her scent some 2 years earlier using a scent preservation kit. Using that kit, the police dog was able to find the missing woman within minutes. The woman returned home safely. The dog got an ice cream cone. Cubs cut down the White Sox 8-3. Training camp is here for the Bears. And the news, a service of Ashley Home Store. Ashley Home Store's sale and clearance event ends Monday. Don't miss the $500 million blowout with 24% off plus 24 months no interest or get 72 months no interest. Ashley Home Store. This is home. 7:35 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Joe, I love you. You gotta calm down.
The Joe Walsh Show.
I hardly ever raise my voice on this show. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I never get excited. I never lose my head. What? Why did we let Kevin get through? I never raise my voice, ever.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
My blood pressure, I think, is just fine.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas. Great coffee, period. On AM 560, The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Opportunity Project, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com.
7:36. Let's get a check on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Thanks, Mike. The Edens runs 20 minutes from Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 23. The Kennedy, 32 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 33 minutes. In Mount Eisenhower, 49 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, outbound 36. Stevenson, an hour and 2 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound it's 42 minutes. Bryan, 29 minutes. 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, stop and go from 95th to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. The Adams and Reagan tollways are fine. Veterans Memorial, slow Boughton most of the way up to St. Charles. The Army Trail toll to 290. 8094 eastbound slow Bird to Grant, crash in the right lane. Traffic service of NTB. Get your 5-quart conventional oil change today. Just $19.99 plus $3 disposal fee for tires, oil, service, and repairs. National Tire and Battery. That's all you need. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Clouds and sun today, lowering humidities and a high of 82. Becoming partly cloudy and 67 overnight and a beautiful day tomorrow. High 79 with sunshine. 75 at O'Hare. Next news at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with host Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Don't miss The Summer of Trump, hosted by Joe Walsh and featuring Hugh Hewitt and Guy Benson, August 22nd. Go to 560theanswer.com/summer to get your tickets.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, per Mike Scott's newscast, let's see if I got this right. The Attorney General is being dispatched to El Salvador to work with Ortega and the communists to combat MS-13. I love that episode of Narcos.
Yeah.
That's how badly Jeff Sessions wants out of Washington right now.
Yeah, I'll go
Or
there.
Trump wants him out of Washington. I don't know which, but that is a bizarre story. I mean, the timing of that is just...
Come on, it's all about
bizarre.
the timing.
It's just bizarre. For more on the bizarre of D.C. when it comes to personnel, when it comes to the president's tweeting, when it comes to concurrent investigations into the former DNC head, perhaps, certainly with the arrest of her IT colleague, vendor, the whole family of vendors and car dealers, as well as the requisitioning of Comey's communications from House Judiciary, as well, of course, as the Russian collusion investigations going on in every direction.
And I have questions about Scaramucci, huh?
Yeah. I think Mike Rogers is afraid. I'm afraid to bring Mike Rogers on. I don't want him to be party to a hate crime.
No,
with your
because
impersonations.
Scaramucci wants the FBI to investigate leaks
of a certain person in the Republican Party.
All right, just don't do the...
Okay, I won't.
Don't do your Vinnie Barbarino.
I promise
All
I
right.
won't. I'll keep it clean.
All right, that's the best I can do. Mike Rogers, former House Intel Committee Chairman, Congressman from the 8th District in Michigan, officer in the U.S. Army, FBI Special Agent. Now he's a television host on CNN. He is a true Renaissance man. Mike, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
My dad would just say I can't keep a job. That's all.
Yeah, right. Vinnie Barbarino. You're right. Come on, you're
pull that out.
Yeah, I got all kinds of references.
That was funny.
So here, it's like spin the wheel and pick an investigative track. Why don't we start with Debbie Waserman Schultz? We were just talking to Jed Babin about it a little bit, but from your perspective, this video of her dressing down the Capitol Hill police chief because he wouldn't give her back her computer, she wants her computer back. The complete lack of interest, it seems to me, from the former DNC head and members of the Democrat caucus about getting to the truth of the alleged DNC hack, and then all the swirl about this Pakistani IT guy and his family and the fleeing and the arrests and the money. And not to mention their access to communications from ranking members of Democrat ranking members of a lot of sensitive committees, so the information they could have had access to. This seems to me like a real story that is being wildly underreported and under-amplified by the Republicans.
Couldn't agree more. There is clearly something to this, which is, by the way, the other reason I think that even the DNC doesn't want to provide the FBI their server. I think there is more going on to this story than we have been led to believe, and it's going to be interesting to watch as it unfolds. Again, I think two things are going on. One, I think there's some embarrassing, probably, communications that they don't want to get out to their own party. If you remember some of the Podesta emails,
right,
were they would disparage the people who they were claiming to be Democrats in their own party. That was an embarrassing thing. But with the arrest of the IT guy, that tells me that there is more than just embarrassing emails. There may be some criminal activity that needs to be investigated.
And when it came to Debbie Wasserman Schultz, she lost her position as head of the DNC chair because of those embarrassing emails.
Yeah, absolutely. And certainly, I think it could have gone deeper than they actually did it. But they were looking for the quick move and moving along. They put Donna Brazile in to try to, who is a person of stature in the Democrat community. So she was able to kind of, I think, tamp things down. But it just clearly sounds, and a lot of times the news media will focus on the things that are certainly, the shiny toy for the moment. But the investigators will plow through these leads wherever they take them. And it sounds to me there's more going on in this IT scandal that is going to reach into other Democrat members. This is clearly, where there is in the FBI, that arrest, we would say, is a clue.
Yeah, right. In this story, we have an arrest by the FBI. That seems,
we have evidence.
Yeah, physical evidence. That seems to be substantial, certainly more substantial than the political demagoguery we have with respect to many of these other investigations.
No, exactly. And so I'm telling you, if the FBI went in and made an arrest with everything else going on, it tells me that they have plenty of evidence to get there. Because this isn't an accusation. This was an arrest. And
it also tells, it should also tell us that as much criticism as Jeff Sessions is currently receiving from Donald Trump, Department of Justice is not sitting on their hands. They've been pursuing a raft of cases, and you're now seeing some of the fruits of those investigations.
Well, absolutely. And I know these investigators well. I used to be an FBI agent. I get their mentality. They won't pay attention to all the fluff in the news. They're going to pay attention to the leads that they have, and they are going to doggedly go down those trails. And so I don't care if he can fire Jeff Sessions tomorrow, President Trump. Whoever they appoint is not going to get these FBI agents off it. Somebody would have to walk into that squad and say, you're done. You're not investigating this. And I'll guarantee you all hell would break loose. So some notion that trying to control your attorney general is going to control where you think the investigation is going to go is nonsense. Now, the attorney general will have the final say on prosecute or don't prosecute, but the investigation itself is, I just don't see any way that comes to a screeching halt. And again, you want them out there doing it. If you have nothing to hide, then let them do their job and start paying attention to when they make arrests. That's a big deal. They made an arrest in this case on the IT guy that was working with Debbie Waserman Schultz, Democrat from Florida.
So besides berating Attorney General Sessions on Twitter, he's also, asking him to replace FBI Director Andrew McCabe. As a former FBI agent, how do you feel that he's doing so far as the acting FBI Director?
I think he's doing fine. Listen, I thought that given some of the conflicts earlier that McCabe was probably not the right guy to be the interim director. They should have either stepped someone else up or moved someone else in. I just believe that because he came with his own set of baggage, and I just thought it was important for him to move along quickly in that whole episode. That being said, he's doing fine. He's not starting, being vindictive in his investigative approach at all. And I've worked with Andy McCabe before when he held other jobs in the FBI, and I was chairman of the Intel Committee. So I know who he is. He got kind of gummed up in the political thing in Virginia. He shouldn't have done that. Probably shouldn't be serving as acting director given those kind of conflicts. However, he's a good man. I think he's trying to do the right thing. I don't think he's changing it. I just think that some notion that the president thinks by attacking these people openly like this is helping his cause. These agents will say, you know what, I'm not doing anything Saturday. I think I'll spend Saturday investigating this too. And how about my nights? I think I'll give up a few nights trying to figure out what in the heck is going on. Some notion that you're going to intimidate these people off of what they're doing is just nuts. And I think it takes away from his ability to talk to the American people about what does he really want in the health care bill? What does he really want in tax reform? It's going to take every bit of his skill to move Congress, to move Americans in his direction on his agenda. When he's tweeting about the Attorney General and, Mika Brzezinski on MSNBC or saying something about McMaster's, his own national security advisor, I think it just detracts from what he's trying to do, and it takes away from the office of the presidency. I think in the long run it's going to hurt him badly.
I want to stay on the other side just because, we have covered the accusations of Democrats wall to wall from the outset of the Trump administration. So to have some new information coming to light that's not being covered, not particularly well or with any particular alacrity, is a little distressing to me. Another piece of this, Fusion GPS. This is the op research firm that created the phony baloney Trump Russian dossier, right? So its co-founder, Glenn Simpson, who's a former investigative reporter with the Journal, Wall Street Journal, said he reached it's a report that he reached an agreement to speak with the Senate Judiciary Committee privately, and we're learning more about Fusion GPS, including doing work for the Venezuelans, where they essentially ran a smear campaign against Venezuela reporters that were following a money laundering operation involving Venezuelan electric power plants through American banks. Also, there is an accusation that Fusion GPS was working on behalf of Russian interests to repeal the now infamous 2012 Magnitsky Act, which was central to this whole Donald Jr. Meeting with the Russian attorney. Fusion GPS, which effectively is operated as a Democrat op research firm, is at the center of two of these matters with two rogue enemies of the American state. So what about this? Do you get the sense that there is a real secondary story that puts a lot of these pieces together that has nothing to do with what's been reported for the past 6 months? Or is that just kind of fantasy conspiracy mongering on my part?
No, I mean, I think it should clearly be investigated. Listen, I am a big believer that all of this Russian stuff that is all Russia, all the time, every day, has driven, I think, a dangerous wedge in the country. It's made Democrats say, yes, everything that the president done is illegal and bad, and the Russians stole an election, which is candidly not true. And Republicans saying, nah, the Russians, they're fine, don't worry about it, there's nothing to worry about here. I think that's not true. And so I worry about the level of our debate, that you can't get in to a real investigative conclusion on all of this. My argument is we ought to stop talking about every little lead. You know, if you put 100 bits of facts on the table and I only get to see 3, I'm going to come to the wrong conclusion just about guaranteed. And what happens in the news every day is you see this one thing and you think, oh my God, it's, you know, the whole thing is over and it's done and they can't survive, and people start screaming impeachment. You don't know the other 97 pieces of fact that the investigators have that may or may not support that conclusion. And so I worry about the way we're handling this. Certainly in the court of public opinion, there is an effort to condemn the president and have him as guilty as he can be. And of course, and then on the other side, the Republicans have just decided, no, the Russians are good. You know, don't worry about Russian intelligence interference or attempted interference with our elections. Don't worry about that.
And I'm so excited. Declassified is back on CNN this Saturday. I saw a tease for this show. It's going to be really good.
Oh, it's going to be great. Declassified, even for your Fox News watchers, sneak into your living room or your basement, flick it over to CNN at 9 o'clock on Saturday night. It's not a political show. It's about, great American spy stories. This one is about a great sting operation to get an arms dealer that was getting arms to terrorists all across the country, and it really unfolds. It's just like a great thriller. You're going to love it. It's Declassified on CNN on Saturday night. And listen, you don't even have to tell the rest of your family you watched it. You can watch it without saying you flipped it off of Fox News. It's going to be fantastic.
That's the same thing I do when I watch Don Lemon's New Year's Eve party.
Yeah, it's a guilty pleasure.
Just like your guilty pleasure.
Exactly. Mike Rogers, the host of Declassified on CNN, premiering on Saturday night, as he just described, former House Intel Committee Chairman, U.S. Army officer, FBI Special Agent. Mike, always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks, Dan and Amy. Always great to catch up.
Thank you, and he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Finding great candidates to hire can be, well, like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is different. It doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them. With its powerful technology, ZipRecruiter distributes your job everywhere it needs to be to find the right candidates. In fact, over 80% of jobs on ZipRecruiter get a qualified candidate in just one day. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, only ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
Used by businesses of all sizes, ZipRecruiter offers the most qualified job candidates with immediate results. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. That's right, free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work for your free trial. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
Oh, you're bombarded with MyPillow ads everywhere you turn, not only from me, but on TV, billboards, and in print. And the reason is simple. It is the best pillow available. You deserve a restful and relaxing summer, and the July radio deal using my name, Amy, and the promo code is the best deal available. It's the 50% discount on a MyPillow 4-pack. That includes 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows for half price. Now, you can move the fill to give you the exact support you need regardless of sleep position. You'll get into deep sleep faster and stay there longer, and you won't wake up to a stiff neck or headache. And our good friend Mike Lindell makes them right here in America using only American labor. Wash them and dry them. No need to take them to the dry cleaner. And they're hypoallergenic, and you'll get the 10-year warranty and 60-day money-back guarantee. So get your 50% off the 4-pack by calling 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy or visit mypillow.com. That's 800-489-0201. Promo code Amy.
Hello, this is financial advisor Dale Bradley speaking to you from the Bradley Investment Center in Evanston. Have you ever made an investment through one of those large national brokerage firms? Have you ever felt like just a number? Well, at Bradley Investment Center, our goal is not to be the largest practice. It's simply to be the best by establishing and keeping true personal relationships. Visit us at BradleyInvestmentCenter.com. That's BradleyInvestmentCenter.com. Or better yet, stop by and say hello. We are at the corner of Central and Central Park in beautiful Northwest Evanston. We strive to be the center of all your family's investment needs. For more information, call the Bradley Investment Center at 855-940-8700. That's 855-940-8700.
Bradley Investment Center. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc. Bradley Investment Center is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services.
Do you crave work that matters? 20 years ago, Bob Buford's book, Halftime, took business leaders from success to significance in their work. That book started a movement and the Halftime Institute. Now, from Institute CEO Dean Nawalny comes the next new powerhouse book, Trade Up. Building on Bob's legacy, Trade Up shows marketplace leaders how to not just make money, but make a difference. If the word smoldering discontent describe you, then trade up. Go to halftime.org. That's halftime.org.
It's coming whether you like it or not. In a few weeks, guess what? School will begin, and maybe you weren't satisfied with your child's public school, and you thought, you know what, I should do something different. Well, it's not too late to go to halfpriceschools.com, and at halfpriceschools.com, you could purchase a tuition voucher for private schools at half the normal price. There's no catch. It's real simple. Find a private school near you, purchase that tuition voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school. HalfPriceSchools.com is schools located all across the Chicagoland area, including LaSalle, Peru. That's very rural, but it's out there. Oak Lawn, Bensonville, South Holland, Chicago, Arlington Heights, just to name a few. So make private schools a real option for you and your family this year. Simply go to HalfPriceSchools.com, but don't wait, don't delay. Many of these vouchers have already sold out. HalfPriceSchools.com. That's HalfPriceSchools.com.
You are about to hear from Dr. Douglas Howard.
After 20 years and tens of thousands of success stories, Balance of Nature is still the only pure whole food supplement available. Balance of Nature has served more than 500 million servings of fruits and vegetables. Don't accept imitations, copies, or substitutions. Our success stories are unique to Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. You'll know you have the real thing when you open the bottles and see, smell, and taste real produce.
It is worth every penny I pay because they really have made such a difference in my life. It is making me feel a whole lot better.
Even my doctor thought it was a good product.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you for free. Call now for details.
Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Do you know your bank's fraud tolerance? I'm Ann Dollagall, Treasury Management Executive. At Signature Bank, we have 0 tolerance. While some of the big banks may write off smaller incidences of fraud, we use a multi-layered approach to fight fraud before it happens to our customers. There's been a record number of businesses hit with payments fraud this year. Keeping your business assets safe is our top priority. We are trained, and we will train you to recognize potential wire fraud threats and business email compromise scams. Call us today to find out how Signature Bank can work with your business to fight fraud.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
A volatile stock market, out of control national debt,
domestic and global events. Can your retirement survive? Listen to Grow My Retirement, Saturday afternoons at 2 with Bill Geiger of Geiger Wealth Management. Bill translates today's complex retirement issues into easy-to-understand steps to help you create a retirement income you can't outlive.
This is serious stuff.
Grow My Retirement, Saturday afternoons at 2, here on AM 560, The Answer.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Does Steve Bannon want to raise income taxes? We'll ask Rich Lowry, editor of National Review, at 8:08.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is the one and only Mike Scott.
City Council approving a massive red light camera settlement. Wisconsin lands a giant smartphone plant. Fiancé of a man shot by Chicago police has filed a lawsuit. CTA accuses a man of kidnapping their tools. The Cubs beat the White Sox. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
Come on, Republicans. You can do it on health care. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's President Trump cheerleading on Twitter this morning, telling the GOP not to let the American people down. The day after another Republican plan to repeal Obamacare failed to pass.
Democrats are not going to continue to try and amend the House plan that is already dead.
Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, but Republicans have many more votes in store.
A skinny repeal of the Affordable Care Act may emerge as the only proposal able to win 50 Republican votes, a proposal designed to do away with key provisions of the Affordable Care Act.
I think we want to do as much as we can.
Senate Republican Whip John Cornyn says conversations about the idea are continuing, but the idea would repeal the health care law's requirements to purchase insurance. On Capitol Hill, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
Blast off in Iran. That country's media reports a successful launch of a rocket carrying a satellite into space today. U.S. officials have feared Iran is using the same technology for a long-range missile, like North Korea recently tested, that could reach Alaska. No one will be riding any rides at the Ohio State Fair today as inspectors look at them all after a deadly malfunction last night on the Fireball.
We'll investigate. We're not going to take anybody's word for anything.
That's Governor John Kasich. Fox's Jeff Manasso details what went wrong live.
Dave, it's a ride that twists people around and swings back and forth like a pendulum. Cell phone video capturing the moment it crashed, broke apart, and bodies went flying.
And then the door hit the ground. He wasn't breathing.
An 18-year-old man did die. 7 others hurt. Officials in Columbus say the ride had been inspected several times. The malfunction also prompting the California State Fair to shut down a similar ride there. Dave.
Jeff, a capture early this morning on a highway in North Carolina. Sheriff's deputies finally caught up with a man who'd eluded them for 6 days, a suspect in a break-in in the Pisgah National Forest area. Fox News, fair and balanced.
75 degrees, mostly cloudy skies. Winds are north at 4 at 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. An investigation is heating up today following the deadly shooting of a Lewis University professor earlier this year in Naperville. Now, a $50,000 reward is being posted, offered for information leading to the arrest and the murder of Matthew Lang. Police say he was shot and killed in January inside a car near Scullin Middle School. One person is in custody after gunshots damaged a Chicago Fire Department truck on the south side. Police say firefighters were responding to a two-vehicle crash early this morning near 79th and Yates when a fight broke out. A third person rolled up on the scene and then, according to police, fired shots which damaged the windshield of that fire truck. No one was hurt. Taiwanese electronics giant Foxconn apparently passing up Illinois, Pennsylvania, and many other states, and will build a smartphone assembly plant in southeast Wisconsin. The Foxconn plant may employ as many as 10,000. The fiancé of a man shot and killed by Chicago police last year is suing the police department. Officers fired at Joshua Beal in November during a traffic dispute near 111th and Troy. The lawsuit claims an off-duty Chicago cop did not properly identify himself as an officer before that shooting. The CTA suing a Chicago man who's refusing to return nearly $600,000 worth of CTA tools and other specially made safety equipment. Now, the CTA storage container was sitting on a piece of property that Fernando Fromenta bought in July. CTA now says Fromenta has refused to allow the agency to remove the container and has illegally changed the locks on it. Cubs cut down the White Sox 8-3. Training camp is here for the Bears. The news service of LifeLock. It's morning, and here's an eye-opener. LifeLock can see more threats to your identity than you can see if you're just monitoring your credit. And if something happens, a U.S.-based specialist can work to fix it. Go to lifelock.com, promo code RISK to save 10%. 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, service of turnkey.pro, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, Comcast is reporting a strong spring, in part because of the dramatic success of its Universal Pictures unit's film, The Fate of the Furious. Its cable business lost 34,000 residential and business video customers. A year ago, it lost only 4,000 in the spring quarter. Business is declining at Buffalo Wild Wings. The restaurant chain says sales were weaker in its recent quarter from a year ago. Buffalo Wild Wings is also predicting sales will decline between 1% and 2% this year. Martha Stewart has a new gig, joining with newspapers for food and wine events. She'll be on a culinary tour that will promote regional food trends. The Dow closed up 97 yesterday. The Nasdaq was up 10, both in record territory, and the S&P 500 gained a fraction. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
8:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Larry Elder sees a glaring issue with the media.
The Center for Public Integrity identified 430 people who were, quote, journalists, reporters, news editors, or television anchors. What percentage of the money that they gave went to Hillary, do you think, of these 430 journalists? 96% of the nearly $400,000 that they gave went to Clinton. 96%.
The Larry Elder Show. Weeknights at 7, right before Jay Sekulow at 9 on AM 560. The Answer.
When was the last time you walked out of a mattress store feeling confident about your purchase? These places exist for one reason: for a highly trained, commission-driven salesperson to dupe you into spending way too much money on a mattress. Hi, my name is Neil, and I'm one of the co-founders of Casper. Casper was created with a single goal in mind: deliver a great night's sleep at an incredible value. So we hired a team of engineers and designers to develop a single perfect mattress that sleeps cool and has just the right sink and bounce. We sell the Casper mattress online, skipping the markups of mattress stores, and we let you try it out in your own home for 100 nights risk-free. In less than 3 years, we've rapidly become the internet's favorite mattress. In fact, it now has more than 20,000 reviews with an average of 4.8 stars. Try us out today.
Simply go to Casper.com and use code RESTED to get $50 towards your mattress purchase. Terms and conditions apply. That's gift code RESTED at Casper.com for $50 towards your mattress purchase. Casper.com. Thanks for checking us out.
8:07. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. And here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Eastbound 8094 has heavy delays from Indianapolis Boulevard to Burr. There was an earlier crash in the area. The Edens Expressway, just 20 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 25. Kennedy, 47 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 37 from Montrose, 34 in the Express. Outbound 16 minutes to Montrose, an hour to O'Hare. A crash at Cumberland just cleared out of the right lane. Not Eisenhower, 55 minutes. Thorndale to the post office, 41 from Manheim. Outbound 54 to Thorndale. On Stevenson, an hour and 6 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 42 minutes. Ryan is 29 minutes from 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, slow Irving Park to North Avenue. Tri-State southbound, heavy 21 to 176. Northbound stop and go 95th to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. The Adams and Reagan Tollways are fine. Veterans Memorial, slow Boughton to the Reagan Tollway, from the Army Trail Toll to 290. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, intervals of clouds and sunshine, high 82. Tonight, becoming partly cloudy, low 67. Tomorrow, sunshine and patchy clouds, high 79. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
Currently 75. Next news at 8:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next. On AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Alpha Wealth Group, bringing the trilogy of estate, tax, and investment planning together. Visit alphawealthgroup.com for a free report.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, interesting times in the National Republican Party. You've got senators who raison d'etre for the last nearly decade was to repeal and replace Obamacare, voting against repeal of Obamacare, voting against repeal and replace of Obamacare. You've got Scaramucci, the new comm director.
Oh, yes.
No.
Anthony. No, his name's Anthony Scaramucci.
I'm sorry.
Scaramucci.
Yeah. The Mooch, as he's known by his friends, apparently, infighting with Priebus, essentially accusing Priebus of being a leaker.
Yeah, and he tweeted about it and wanted the FBI to investigate.
I know I'm in a cesspool called Washington, or a swamp called Washington, so it'll be virtually impossible to get rid of every leak, but I think we can take dramatic steps to get rid of leaks. Now, one of the big problems here that I'm discovering in the comms team is that senior people are really the guys doing the leaking, and they ask junior people to leak for them. And so I'm very proud to be reporting directly to the president so that I can hermetically seal off the comms team from this sort of nonsense.
Although I appreciate what he's saying about leaking generally, but specifically with respect to his financial disclosure forms.
Right.
Whatever isn't a matter of public record should be. I mean, it should just preemptively disclose. I mean, reporting about how much he made from his private equity or his hedge fund.
Yeah, but he claims that financial disclosure is a felony, and he wanted to contact the FBI. He has since deleted that tweet, but
what's the big deal?
Infighting,
a little transparency, particularly in your kind of financial wherewithal. I mean, he's very successful, and that's great for him, but it's otherwise unremarkable. He ran a successful hedge fund, and he made a lot of money. Okay, moving on. You create stories when you behave like, everything should be released only when I say it should be released. That is, frankly, a matter of public record based per the background of these individuals that are at the highest reaches of government. So I think there's one thing to talk about leaking classified information. There's another thing to talk about what you should be disclosing about your personal information of a professional nature. So you got that going on. You got Jeff Sessions, who's been exiled to El Salvador to hang out with Daniel Ortega.
And that's not a joke.
No, that's not a joke. So I don't know if Trump is going to
come back.
If he's going to resuscitate the Contras down there. I don't know what. And then
is it a one-way ticket?
And then this story, Steve Bannon. This comes to us from The Intercept. Steve Bannon, according to people who know him, take that as you will, pushing for the tax reform, remember that agenda item, to include a new 44% top marginal rate, hitting people who earn more than $5 million annually, and the revenue from that tax increase to pay for tax relief for the other 99.9% of Americans. It's interesting. It's a little bit out of the Dem playbook, but it's not inconsistent with some of the things that Trump said on the campaign trail about changes to the rates in terms of anybody getting hit. It would only be those uber wealthy types. He was not averse to going after kind of Wall Street hedge fund managers either, was Donald Trump as a candidate. So a lot going on. None of it particularly productive as far as I could discern, but perhaps I don't have the insight of someone like a Rich Lowry, the editor of National Review, Fox News contributor, author of the book Lincoln Unbound, who joins us now. Rich, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So why don't we start with Bannon and tax reform, particularly if that has to be taken up, if Obamacare repeal or Obamacare repeal and replace continues to languish in the Senate. And what stock you put in that report about Bannon's perspective on tax reform?
Well, I think it correctly reflects Bannon's perspective. He wants a more populist-oriented tax reform, and tax reform will be subject to all the usual demagogic Democratic attacks, that it's just a tax cut for the rich, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And this would be a way to insulate President Trump from that. I think the economic effects would be relatively minor, but politically, it's just not going to happen. It's tax reform would be the same situation as healthcare reform. You can lose only 2 Senate Republicans, and the idea that Rand Paul, Ted Cruz, and Mike Lee are going to vote for a tax increase on the rich is just impossible to believe. So I think, Trump is obviously intrigued by the idea. He's talked about it, but I can't see it going much further than that, or I'd be very surprised if it does.
So when it comes to health care, I mean, the repeal-only bill is not going to make it. The repeal and replace not make it. There's a slight chance that the skinny repeal, which I love the title, where some Obamacare mandates are repealed for individual mandates and for employers, and for the repealing the tax on the medical devices, do you think they can make that deal?
Well, I don't know. I think it's likelier than anything else. So maybe I would say the odds are they'll pass something like that. Then the key question is that just the shell? Is that just a vehicle to get to a conference with the House where you do something more comprehensive? Or do you end up saying to the House, you know what, we've realized this is all we can get through the Senate, and you guys just have to swallow this, and we're going to call it victory and go home. And, maybe when their backs are really, really against the wall after something comes back from conference, you'd get 50 votes for something more meaningful than the skinny repeal. But if they don't have it now, it's a little hard to see how they're going to get it ever.
It's an interesting piece in the Washington Examiner by James Antley. Republicans repeal and replace the Tea Party. That's what they've done. So the combination of what's happening with Obamacare repeal and replace and what's happening to Jeff Sessions at the hands of a populist like Trump and his supporters, where does that leave the conservative movement? It seems like the editor of National Review would be particularly well situated to answer that question.
Well, it's very disappointing. The Obamacare is just a lot of these Republicans acted in bad faith. They said they were in favor of repeal for years. They voted in favor of repeal in 2015 when they knew Obama was going to veto it and would just be a symbolic measure. And now when they're firing with real bullets, they pulled up short. So it's just extremely disappointing. And what's happening to Jeff Sessions is just appalling. He's a Trump loyalist. He believed in the agenda before Trump did, this kind of populist nationalist agenda, and no one should be treated the way he is. I don't care whether you're not a loyalist or you don't believe in the agenda. No one should be publicly belittled and humiliated by their boss in this way. And Trump has 2 options. He can directly order Sessions to do whatever it is that he wants him to do. He can fire him, or he can shut up. And I think he should pick one of those 3.
With respect to the state of affairs of the conservative grassroots, I mean, there's reports about advisors trying to tell Trump to take one of the 3 options that you laid out, and that's the shut up one, because there will be a conservative role. I mean, Mo Brooks has suggested he'll get out of the race and allow Jeff Sessions to take the U.S. Senate seat from Alabama back if he'd like, as an expression of support. It really is remarkable. Is this something that may allow conservatives and the conservative grassroots to reassert itself and not play the role of flack for Donald Trump? Or does this have the potential to continue to marginalize conservatives and the conservative grassroots?
Well, it's one of the few things I can see happening in the short term that would poison Trump's relationship with the base. And look, I'm not a huge fan of Donald Trump, obviously. That's extensively on the record. But I think it's better if everyone kind of holds this together and actually tries to get things done, because this is a historic opportunity. You don't oftentimes have control of both houses of Congress and the presidency. And a lot of people held their nose to vote for Donald Trump and worked very hard to make this happen, not so Donald Trump could ride on Marine One or Paul Ryan could have the honor of being Speaker of the House, but so we could actually do things. So it'd be better if we don't have a meltdown over nonsense and we just focus on keep the eye on the prize. But with this president, with this administration, you just never know. And it may be that for Trump, what the prize is trying to kneecap this investigation, and he cares about that more than his relationship with his own voters or more than the agenda.
And that's, I think, and many people think the reason why he wants to get rid of Sessions so that he can replace him with somebody who's going to fire Bob Mueller and get rid of this Russian investigation.
Yeah, so it would be, the Senate is pushing back against that. You had Grassley tweeting yesterday that he's not going to hold any hearings for a replacement for Jeff Sessions if it came to that. The Senate won't go technically into recess, so there'll be no possibility for a recess appointment. He could get any acting AG, who in the normal course of things would be Rod Rosenstein, the deputy, who, if you're Trump, you should be even angrier at than Jeff Sessions, because he's the guy actually appointed Mueller. But there's potential he could bypass Rosenstein and do someone else's acting. But by then, you have a real political legitimacy problem. You know, if you just find some other apparatchik, just go in there to do your bidding. So I understand why he's upset over Mueller. No one likes a special counsel investigation. You know, they do tend to run out of control. But he can order Sessions and Rosenstein, or even do it himself, just to have some specifically written down what it is that Mueller is investigating. And that if Mueller wants to go further than that, he needs to produce a reason. You know, that'd be some way to at least better control the exit of the investigation. But there's no way to shut it down, because even if he could fire Mueller himself constitutionally, but even if he does that, the Senate is going to have an independent commission or some select committee that's really muscular in the wake of that and the political reaction, and they'll investigate it. So if I'm Trump, even if I fear I have some legal vulnerability in my real estate background, I wait it out, and then I fight it out if he actually finds something. You know, I say everyone does it, or, you know, this is irrelevant to what the investigation was supposed to be about, or whatever the defense is. But firing Mueller now just risks a thermonuclear political event and a semi-meltdown of his administration.
Yeah, I like the overriding perspective you're offering, which is this is a historic opportunity. It's being squandered. Don't squander it. Try and keep it together. Yeah, I think that's good broad perspective on where we are and where we need to be. Rich Lowry, editor of National Review, Fox News contributor, author of the book Lincoln Unbound. Rich, thanks always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up, State Senator Cullerton's in a little bit of trouble for describing Governor Rauner's mental state. We'll explain. But first, here's your forecast. Sunshine today, a few high clouds, 82 degrees. Then tonight, we're going to have a low of 67. Then we're going to have a string of days with sunshine and no rain. Tomorrow, a high of 77 degrees. Let's go now into our alarm detection systems traffic center, the one and only, the best in the business. We are honored to have him, Jim Talamonte.
Wow. Thanks, Amy. Good morning. Good morning, Dan. Trouble spot in Stickney. Westbound Pershing is closed. Central to 57th Avenue. There's an overturned tanker. And in Port Barrington, Rawson Bridge Road still flooded. Eden's 20 minutes. Lake Hook to the junction. Outbound 25. The Kennedy. Delay started at Irving Park. It's 47 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, but outbound an hour. Crash at Cumberland now cleared. The Eisenhower's 50 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 57. Stevenson, an hour and 6 minutes. 3:55 to the drive. Outbound 42 minutes. The Ryan, 29 minutes. 95th to downtown. Tri-State, southbound slow 21 to 176. Northbound, 95th to the Hinsdale Oasis. And from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Now, there are the only tollway issues. The northbound Veterans Memorial, 3:55. It's still Boughton to the Reagan Tollway. And from the Army Trail Toll to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
Hey, if you're a realtor looking to maximize your time and sell homes faster, then you need to do what I did and work with David Hochberg, Vice President of Lending at Pearl Mortgage. Realtors, David wants to eliminate the stress you experience during the loan approval stress by approving all your buyers before you begin showing them homes. You heard me. David will approve your buyers for a mortgage before you begin showing them homes, so you know exactly what your buyers can afford. More importantly, with a Team Hochberg loan approval, your buyer's offer will stand out to sellers and sellers realtors because you'll be able to close within 10 days of signing a purchase contract. You heard me. I sound like David Hochberg. You'll be able to close within 10 days of the purchase contract signing. Now, if you want to maximize your time and sell homes faster, your buyers need to secure a loan approval from David's team of purchase mortgage experts. Call David now, 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. David has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but he can't help you if you don't call. 312-751-1333. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358, NMLS 191186.
Building owners and managers. Now is the perfect time of year for a service and maintenance agreement with Waukegan Roofing. Since 1914, Waukegan Roofing has been installing and maintaining roofs you can rely on for all of Chicagoland. Our experienced team of professional service technicians is the right solution for preserving the integrity of your new or existing roofing system for years to come. With your dedicated service technician and our multi-point inspection program, we cover all areas of your roof from early detection to preventative maintenance to repairs and everything in between. We're the licensed commercial roofing contractor you can rely on for all your roofing needs. Building owners and managers, now is the time to prepare your low-slope commercial roof for everything that Mother Nature throws at it this year. Call Waukegan Roofing today for your service and maintenance appointment at 877-ROOF-201. That's 877-ROOF-201. Or visit us online at waukeganroofing.com. Waukegan Roofing, installing roofs you can rely on since 1914.
Illinois licensee 104000761. Sheet metal is a big part of commercial and industrial facilities. Look around your business and you'll quickly notice how many components use sheet metal. From fan systems and hoods to machinery guards and much more. For top quality sheet metal work, get to know the pros at Vans Industrial.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, owner of Vans Industrial. Vans Industrial is an industrial sheet metal contractor that can fabricate all types of alloys up to 1-inch plate. We perform jobs including chutes, hoppers, stacks, siding, and dust collection. We work in material handling facilities including steel, chemical, agricultural, food processing plants, and more. Vans Industrial can also design and perform the engineering for a complete turnkey installation. Our quality work is installed by trained mechanics who will work closely with you to make sure the job is done right.
Call 219-931-4881 for a free inspection of your facility. Interested in what else they do? Visit vansindustrial.com. That's VANS Industrial.com. Quality craftsmanship since 1964. Joe Cotton Ford in Carroll Stream loves their customers. To say thanks, they're having their first annual Customer Appreciation event. Set a reminder for Sunday afternoon, August 13th from 1 to 5 and get ready for a great time. Joe Cotton Ford celebrates 43 years of you, their loyal customers, with a Customer Appreciation event for the entire family. Enjoy complimentary hot dogs, steamboat barbecue, and drinks. Games for the kids, including a mini race car track, blow-up obstacle course, and JCF F-150 pickup football toss. There's going to be live music from Craig Kenning, a car show, and great prizes. Also, check out Sydney Wonderling Racing. Sydney will be there with 3 of her race cars taking pics and signing autographs. RSVP now for the Joe Cotton First Annual Customer Appreciation Event at joecottonford.com/customer-appreciation or call Pam Kahn at 630-682-9200, extension 508. See you at the First Annual Joe Cotton Ford Customer Appreciation Event, Gary and North Avenue in Carroll Stream. joecottonford.com.
Are you behind in your mortgage, facing foreclosure, being given the runaround on a loan modification application by some bank or servicer? Well, you're not alone, but I may be able to help you. My name is Lou Bridges. I'm with the law firm of Lou Bridges & Associates. We've put together a team to help distressed homeowners like you. Give us a call. We give everyone who's eligible a free consultation. I guarantee you it will not be a sales pitch. We will give you our honest analysis, counsel, recommendations, and advice regarding your options.
We are experts in doing loan modifications successfully. We know the regs. We understand the process. Most importantly, we don't take no for an answer. We fight. We are prepared, and we win. We save houses. We make houses affordable. So if you want to keep your house affordable, contact us.
Go to bridgeslaw.net or call 224-513-1231. That's 224-513-1231.
Remember, people, never give up the land. Fight for truth and justice. You do that, and I guarantee you'll never be alone.
AM 560, The Answer.
Let not your heart be troubled. Listen to me, Sean Hannity. I'll have the latest news and what it all means for you. It's coming up at 2 right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, you know, there's a lot of reasons why the culture continues to move left. One is Republicans don't make arguments. They just stake out positions. We've seen that play out in the Obamacare drama that is unfolding before us. It's also because we allow the state to fund the left. Of course the state funds the left, which is why you want to reduce the size and scope and expense and power of the state. To that end, you don't just see it on college campuses, you see it in science. The National Science Foundation spent $3 million of your money to stop microaggressions, implicit bias, and the lack of diversity. $175,000 for an implicit bias conference hosted at Stanford. The University of New Hampshire gets $1 million to stop bias incidents against minorities in STEM. And the NSF gives Texas A&M nearly $2 million to enhance diversity and inclusion and quality of the school's STEM community. You fund the left's identity-obsessed worldview and all the silliness associated with conference and academic chairs and the rest of it. And, of course, you're going to move the culture left. That's what the NEA does. That's what the NIH does. That's what the National Science Foundation does. That's what the state does. Illinois, you could throw the Illinois Arts Council on that, too. But maybe there is signs of a break. We've talked at length about Evergreen State College, better known as Matt Groening U. Brett Weinstein, the progressive, social justice, cultural Marxist, who was targeted for elimination by the young barbarians that attend Matt Groening U because he didn't want to take part in the all white people leave campus for a day. He has filed a $3.8 million lawsuit against his college for, quote, failure to set and enforce necessary boundaries in the workplace on campus, for selectively choosing not to enforce its student code of conduct, and sending the unmistakable message that the school will tolerate and even endorse egregious violations and even crimes purportedly to advance racial social goals, diminishing the collegiate experience for all and fostering a racially hostile work and retaliatory environment for faculty and staff. That was a statement released by Weinstein's attorney explaining his $4 million tort action.
As an attorney, do you think he has a chance?
Sure. I mean,
they didn't give him a safe space.
you could argue that's an intentional infliction of emotional distress.
Yep.
There's no question about it, and if it helps to defund Matt Groening U, all the better.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, some strong, inappropriate words against Governor Rauner. Now somebody should apologize.
And return to his shire.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
76 degrees, mostly cloudy skies. In the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. The Senate says no, for now, to a bill to repeal Obamacare without a replacement. That plan and vote went down 45 to 55 yesterday. 7 Republicans joining Democrats in voting no, but there are many more votes planned. Investigators are looking into the death of a Utah woman on a cruise ship off the coast of Alaska. The FBI assisting local authorities trying to figure out what happened. 1 person is dead, 7 more hurt during a ride malfunction at the Ohio State Fair. Ohio Governor John Kasich.
It's a very tough night for the people of our state because of the loss of our citizens.
The accident happened yesterday evening when a row of seats on the Fireball ride broke free. A few veterans in Congress are coming out with criticism of President Trump over his transgender military ban. The president announcing yesterday that transgendered service people would not be allowed to serve in the U.S. military, citing medical costs and other issues. Democrat Senator Tammy Duckworth of Illinois spoke out. She is a veteran and a double amputee.
If you want to serve this country and you want to risk your life to preserve our democracy, then you should be allowed to serve. In fact, diversity is what makes our military the greatest military on the face of the earth.
She says when she was injured during fighting in Iraq, she didn't care if those coming to save her were gay or straight. An investigation continues following the deadly shooting of a Lewis University professor early this year in Naperville. A $50,000 reward is now being offered for information leading to an arrest in the murder of Matthew Lang. Authorities are searching for a shooting suspect following an hours-long standoff in Dalton. Police say a young man robbed and shot another person over an iPhone yesterday near 151st and Oak. The suspect ran into a relative's home. Officers entered that home later in the evening, found the suspect wasn't there. The shooting victim is hospitalized in good condition. Major civil rights groups are joining a class action lawsuit. The NAACP and the Chicago Urban League are seeking to force Chicago to reform the nation's second largest police force with more direct court oversight. Mayor Emanuel says no, holding up the stop sign on the Cubs, who want to take second base and maybe third with more night games at Wrigley Field. This week, the franchise asked the city to allow 54 games under the lights. Emanuel responding yesterday, the Cubs were offered more events at night, but chose to hold concerts instead. Cubs did beat the White Sox on the South Side 8-3. The news a service of Staples. With free next-day delivery from Staples, you can run your business like a pro. Go to staples.com for the office essentials you need. Delivered next day free on eligible items only, and orders over $49.99 placed by 5 p.m. Excludes weekends and holidays. Staples, it's pro time. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher can always count on the Democrats.
I'm being told that Donald Trump Jr. took a meeting with a Russian lawyer in which no law was broken. At least the Democrats aren't overreacting. What's this? Senator Tim Kaine?
This is moving into perjury, false statements, and even into potentially treason.
Yep, you can count on the Dems.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Right now with Galaxy. Buy one cabinet, get one free. Visit us online at galaxyhome.com to schedule your free in-home estimate. Save an additional $500 when you book right now.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now. I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that that could be my reality.
Take Dr. Howard's Health Challenge and find out how to get 2 free sets of fruits and veggies. We'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
8:36 and a check of the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Thanks, Mike. Inbound Kennedy. Delays start at Montrose. 55 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 45 from Montrose, 34 in the Express. Outbound 14 minutes to Montrose, but 47 to the airport. Eden's 20 minutes, Lake Hook to the junction. Outbound 27. Inbound Eisenhower. You get 48 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. 32 from Manheim. Outbound 46 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 6 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 42 minutes. Ryan is 28 minutes, 95 to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive, slow Irving Park to North Avenue. Tri-State southbound, stop and go 120 to 137. Northbound heavy from the Stevenson to 31st and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Veterans Memorial, slow Boughton to the Reagan Tollway. The Army Trail toll to 290. Southbound 53, the delays are Palatine Road to Kirchhoff. 8094 westbound heavy, I-65 to Klein. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Clouds and sunshine, topping out at 82 today. Partly cloudy overnight, low 67. Currently 75. Next news at 9, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour radio show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer. Brought to you by Pearshell Financial Group.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So one of the Shetland people in charge of this state took out after Governor Rauner yesterday, Amy.
Yeah, and John Cullerton.
He's the Senate president, don't you know?
Oh, yeah, he's my state senator. I never vote for him. I always leave it blank.
Well, you've been doing that since about 1818 when the state was incorporated and John Cullerton was elected to the state Senate.
So after days of listening to Governor Bruce Rauner, accused Democratic leaders of holding a school funding bill to create a crisis, all that back and forth, State Senate President John Cullerton yesterday said this, that he'll send the bill on Monday pinning his delays on governor's mental state. Mental state. So that this morning and late last night had people concerned because he was describing the governor as possibly suffering from a type of mental illness, believe it or not, wildly inappropriate. It's because of the mental state of the governor. It's been the fact, as I said, he's really had a bad month. That's what he told reporters, explaining why the bipartisan bill that passed both chambers hasn't been sent to the governor's desk, according to him. So he said he used the word mental state because the governor was angry about all the budget stuff. So even his explanation for why he used the governor's mental state is not making any sense. And the Illinois Division of Mental Health said they came out with a statement last night. Diane Naby from the Illinois Division of Mental Health said, for a political leader to perpetuate this stigma to score political points is completely inappropriate, and we respectfully request that our leaders stop doing so. I mean, are you surprised by this behavior? It's a new low for Illinois politicians?
No, it's not a new low. The response is silly. He's not suggesting that Ronner has mental illness. He's basically saying, he's angry. He's not in the state to deal with this issue or whatever.
He's not in the mental state to deal with this issue.
Here's what I would suggest. The whole kind of tenor of civility in politics, which I know the left likes to invoke right before they are totally uncivil. This is a governor who, by the way, has been characterized by State Senator Donnie Trotter, Democrat from Chicago, Karen Lewis, the Democrat teachers union boss from the Ice Age movie, right? She's Ursula, right? And Steve Brown, Mike Madigan's spokesman, as a member of ISIS.
Yeah, that's how unhinged they are.
Right. So that's been going on for the last 2.5 years. If you disagree with writing blank checks to Chicago, then you're a terrorist. That's what they've been saying. This whole mental state thing is silly, and I hate when we start from the premise of the left, which is to play politically correct games and to suggest that colloquialisms are out of line, and let's get everybody to talk about the stigmas with that. Just pull the reins. Just relax, okay? Here's the deal. Stay focused. The focus is this. And the focus is what the governor actually said. The budget and veto override were in July. What is Senator Cullerton's excuse for the entire month of June? Why is the Senate sitting on this? Send the bill to the governor so that parents and kids know their schools will open on time. That was through one of his spokespeople, Laurel Patrick. That's the point. The point is they do not care about your lives, the existence, the quality, the aspirations. They are happy to put your life in limbo because you are nothing more than a political means to their ends. That's what you should take away rather than this ancillary, did he say the governor is mental? That's just so silly, so dumb. Bruce Rauner has more than enough mental acuity to be governor of the state.
Yes.
Yeah, this just in. That's not in controversy. What is in controversy, it should be in controversy, is how Chicago Democrat bosses treat people as chattel to be employed to whatever their need of the moment is. That's what's happening with this school funding legislation. That's what the focus should be. Now, there's a second issue, too, and this the governor has been less successful in dealing with as far as I'm concerned, and that's the actual substance of the school funding legislation, SB 1, which we've talked about now for the last 2 weeks with the governor, with Representative Mark Batnick from Plainfield, with State Senator Jason Barrickman from Champaign, with Ted Dabrowski from the Illinois Policy Institute. Senate Bill 1, the underlying legislation, is a dog. Senate Bill 1 is not just a one-time bailout of Chicago teacher pensions. Senate Bill 1 is an extension of what we've been doing in this state for the last 40 years, why the state is in the state it is, and that is to rejigger the school funding formula every time Chicago is teetering on the brink of collapse, to send more of everybody else's money, particularly in the suburbs. Wake up, suburban families. particularly in the suburbs, to Chicago. This happens over and over and over again. And Chicago Democrats, these Cornish people like Little John Cullerton and Little Mike Madigan and Little Tiny Dancer, they think you're going to stay on the hamster wheel. They think that you're going to fall for the Groundhog Day yet again, because that's what Senate Bill 1 is, and that's why Ronner has telegraphed a mandatory veto. But it's actually getting worse. Well, of course it's getting worse. It's Illinois. It's only going to get worse, at least under the current power structure. Now it's not just bailouts. It's not just giving Chicago a disproportionate share of their poverty grant money, treating Chicago differently than every other school district in the state that gets poverty grant money, for example, on a per capita basis, where Chicago just gets block granted more money than they would get per capita. That's why they get block granted. That's why they're exempted. Another special deal. Happens all the time. It's been happening since 1995. Wake the frack up. So that's really what's before us. Now you have the state, all you local control automatons. Local control, local control, local control. Do you feel like you have control of your school district? I hate to, invoke Bane from Batman. Oh, you're in control of your school district? Are you? Are you in the suburbs? Forget Chicago and that Politburo. I'm talking about the suburbs. Local control, local control. That's what everybody chants, right? Are you in control of your local school district? Do you feel like you're in control? Or is it the point of fact that the teachers union and the administration is in control of your school district? Oh, and by the way, your children. In this Plato's Republic called Illinois. Local control. And so now the state is stripping away the pretense of that, at least if Senate Bill 1 was passed over the governor's mandatory veto in its current form, where you're going to have the state micromanage all of the funding by tying it to mandates that you shall follow, lest you not receive funding associated with having this many teachers, having this many janitors, having this many support staff, spending X amount of dollars on computers and technology and so forth. There's your K through 12 school system. So you want to give me the routine again about more money for schools? You want to follow these false Joan of Arcs, Ann Williams and Kelly Cassidy are going to sit out the special session because they're big, tough women and they're not going to get pushed around. And the roll call votes for Madigan and Cullerton, two shriveled up old little trolls. Wow, they're so courageous.
I know. The
Great
bravery.
virtue signaling.
This is the bravery.
Oh, yeah. It's so inspired.
Gosh.
And they're doing it for the kids, don't you know?
That's a joke. Political theater.
Everything is for the adults in the system. The adults in the system that provide the political support for the other adults in the system, those in Springfield. I mean, I know your lobotomized leftist Champagne socialist friends in Lakeview are just impenetrable to the evidence and have no historical context, no institutional knowledge whatsoever, and clearly...
Oh, everything is Governor Ronner.
Clearly aren't interested in it.
He wants to give more money to suburban schools and not the city, and he doesn't want to pay off our pension debt.
That who accrued?
We did.
Right.
And that's why I tell them that, and they're not listening.
Should I
this happened long before Governor Ronner was in office.
Should I force them to pay off my debt? Hey,
let's do that.
I'm tired of my mortgage. You pay it. Yeah. That's what they're doing. And that's the bad guy. Well, that's Illinois' political culture, the kleptocracy. And so the question is, this is really the question, particularly for the suburbs. I mean, my larger question for this state in 2018 is revolt or bolt, as I've expounded upon on the show many times.
You've got that hashtag, right?
You
own that, right?
I don't have.
You better own it.
I don't have the trademark rights like Pat Riley does the three-peat, but yeah, I'm saying it and trying to encourage others. But the real question for this issue, the suburbs. Are you going to go down this path again? Are you that clueless? Or are you going to inform your neighbors? Unfortunately, not everybody listens to this show. Unfortunately, not everybody's interested in public policy. Unfortunately, a lot of people like to virtue signal about how they care about the education of children, but do nothing about it, even the base effort to inform themselves. So that requires people who do listen to this show and who are interested in facts and evidence and who are interested in what an actual piece of legislation says to be ambassadors for the truth. Or the state continues to be the worst governed state in the country and continues to lose population and continues to be uninhabitable for people who are not insulated from bad public policy at the top end or the bottom end. That's the question. So suburbs, especially suburbs voting for Madigan roll call votes in Northwest Cook County and Eastern DuPage and Lake County. You want to continue doing the same thing? You want to see your school districts get robbed by Chicago, all with a smile and we're doing it for the kids, and, get played by your local legislator like a dupe, because that's what they think you are. Like the useful idiot they think you are. That's the choice. It's the choice with school funding. It's the choice with that budget vote from 2 weeks ago. It's the choice in the 2018 election. Phil on the Northwest Side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning, guys. I'm just wondering who's the oldest out of Fullerton and Madigan and Rauner. I mean, they keep saying every Republican's mentally unfit. Trump and Rauner, they all got dementia. I just wondered how long. I think Madigan's been in since what? I was born, 1971.
Yes.
And Cullerton's father ran my district, Parkey Cullerton.
Oh, that's great.
His name was still on the alderman's door for 30 years after he was dead, because his son-in-law Alan was running it, and it just never stopped. It was like a dynasty, and it's like, and then anybody who's responsible got dementia. It's amazing. It's like it's so Stalinist. It's disgusting. They all say they couldn't stand the English, but they're taxing us harder than the English ever did.
Thanks, Phil. Did you ever see was it season 2 of Fargo? The series,
right?
Season 2. There's a great exchange between two characters where the one assassin talks about kings, and the guy he's about to kill says, "This is America. We don't have kings." And the guy says, "Oh, sure we do. We just call them a different name." Oh. And that's what we have in Illinois, as endorsed by the populace. We don't use the term king. We just use the term speaker. We use this term Senate president. We use the term Chicago mayor. But that's what we're doing. Sean in Elmwood Park.
Good morning, Rip. Listen, I'm down here because I took your little saying, which, by the way, paperwork is filed and soon it'll cost you $50 to say it. But I took your little saying and I thought about it. And if you're smart, there's no question revolt or bolt. I mean, it's obvious. You bolt. So I have a little business where we move people from there to South Florida. And I am telling you something, Dan. I have seen over the last couple of years, I used to only deal with older people at the end of their working life, getting ready for retirement. I've got 5 people in the Naples side and 2 on the Fort Lauderdale side. Out of the 7, 4 are young.
Yeah.
See, that's the sign that's dangerous for Illinois. It's one thing when an old man moves, who cares? He's at the end anyway. He's going to the way station. But when the young people who you count on funding this Ponzi scheme you call Illinois, when they start to see the futility of their actions and they run, you're done.
Yep.
And that's the reality of what's happening here. So let scoundrels keep their little Ponzi scheme going because they're rich. You think Cullerton cares? You think how much? Can you imagine how much money Cullerton, Madigan, Zoot Suit, Ed Burke, they could care less. But it's the new scoundrels. They're going to be the ones who really pay the cost for what the old ones did. You got to get out and get out now, and stop telling people you got a mortgage. You're lying.
Thanks for the call, Sean.
And they're going to be the first ones to leave once they retire, once they unleash their powerful seats. They all have second homes that they live in. You think Madigan, who as rich as he is, lives in his district?
Oh, he lives in a little
lives in a castle,
little $175,000 bungalow on the southwest side.
Do you think he ever stays there? I think he has a toothbrush and a fake plant to pretend that he lives there.
And to Sean's point about do they care? I don't know what they think. I don't know what's in their heart, but I know what they do. And what they do says, of course, they don't care. Obviously, what they've done. They've had 40 years. Is that enough of a probationary period? Apparently not for Amy's friends in Lakeview and so many, even including in the suburbs. Apparently not. Oh, they're trying. Oh, they're working on it. Oh, there's a lot of blame to go around. No, I love it. I love the rationalizations. And by the way, Sean is exactly right. It's not just anecdotal. We have the data on outmigration. Who's leading the outmigration from Illinois? It's not retirees. Millennials. Millennials leading the outmigration. And second is people in the prime earning years of their work life, 35 to 54, young families that don't see a future in Illinois. That's why what you see happening is the average salary of those leaving now retirees is factored in this too, but average salary of those leaving, household income of those, household income of those leaving, 75 grand. Average household income of those coming into Illinois, which obviously is a much smaller number, 55 grand. That $20,000 spread is the largest in the country. Productive people are fleeing. Every age demographic led by the young. Alan, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
You know, Dan, before you mentioned comment about the being worst governed state in the union, correct?
In the history of the union.
Yeah, but I maintain that if you're a public sector employee, you are in the most brilliantly governed state in the union. If you're in the private sector, you're in the abyss.
Yeah, well.
As a public sector guy, I mean, Mike McCoy, new sheriff down in Washington, stacking a $120,000 salary on top of a $102,000 pension. If you work in the public sector, you are brilliantly capable of making a ton of money in this state.
Well, yes, that's why it's one of the reasons why it's the worst governed state in the country, because that system, that model, don't work. Thanks, Alan.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Continental Audi of Naperville is out to sell 100 new Audis in July. So now is the time for you to take advantage of some great deals during the Summer of Audi sales event. And with Continental Audi of Naperville, you get a different kind of buying experience. Straight talk and no hassle. Plus, you get a huge selection of Audis to choose. For a limited time, lease an Audi A4 Premium for $429 a month. Or lease an Audi Q3 Premium for $419 a month. Drive an Audi and feel the difference. Drive an Audi from Continental and experience the difference in an exceptional dealer. Experience the Continental Audi difference, where smiles are standard equipment. ContinentalAudi.com or Continental Audi in Naperville on Aurora Avenue and Ogden Avenue. Continental Audi of Naperville is out to sell 100 new Audis in July, and they want you to help them meet their goal. 36 month lease, 3115 due and signing, plus tax, title, license, and acquisition fee extra. Must qualify through Audi Financial Services. See dealer for details.
Join Illinois Conservatives United for their conference Strategy 2017 from Outrage to Action. It's on August 18th and 19th at the Diplomat West in Elmhurst. This is a serious conference for serious reformers. To find out more information, visit illinoisconservatives.org. Register before August 3rd and at midnight to receive the early bird special. Again, that is illinoisconservatives.org.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. One of the best things I ever did in my life was buy 2 huge Liberty safes. Now, I love the peace of mind that these safes give me, especially when I'm at work or on vacation. But what made the experience so great is the incredible service you get, and I got from my local Liberty Safe dealer. These guys are amazing. There's so much to like about Liberty Safe, so do what I did. You need a safe. Buy a Liberty Safe today and protect all your valuables, important papers, and, of course, your firearms like never before.
Thanks, Sean. I'm Bert with Second Amendment Sports, here announcing the biggest and best Liberty Safe sale in Chicagoland. It's the Second Amendment Sports Liberty Safe Tent Event, July 29th and 30th. 2 days only for the lowest pricing of the year, 0% financing, and immediate delivery of our huge selection of in-stock safes. Doors open at 9, so get in early. The Second Amendment Sports Liberty Safe Tent Sale in downtown McHenry on Route 120 and 31. Second Amendment Sports. Safety, recreation, protection.
Hello, this is financial advisor Dale Bradley speaking to you from the Bradley Investment Center in Evanston. Have you ever made an investment through one of those large national brokerage firms? Have you ever felt like just a number? Well, at Bradley Investment Center, our goal is not to be the largest practice. It's simply to be the best by establishing and keeping true personal relationships. Visit us at BradleyInvestmentCenter.com. That's BradleyInvestmentCenter.com. Or better yet, stop by and say hello. We are at the corner of Central and Central Park in beautiful Northwest Evanston. We strive to be the center of all your family's investment needs. For more information, call the Bradley Investment Center at 855-940-8700. That's 855-940-8700.
Bradley Investment Center. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc. Bradley Investment Center is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. When you think about quality K-12 schools that put kids on a path to being successful, independent adults, do you think of gender-inclusive toolkits, opposition to federal law enforcement, support for the impeachment of the president? If you don't, you probably weren't at the National Education Association's annual meeting. In worldwide rankings, U.S. high school students do not crack the top 20 in either science or reading and have dropped to 35th in math. The response from the nation's largest teachers union is to argue for in-state college tuition for persons in the country illegally and against the U.S.'s quote-unquote illegal overthrow of the Hawaiian monarchy in 1893. 159 new business items and nary a one dealing with student performance, classroom instruction, or fiduciary responsibility. The NEA has affiliates in all 50 states. They take over school districts, subordinate intellectual development to political indoctrination, and purchase legislators who fund it all on your dime and at your kid's expense. So when the NEA tells you that their business is making your kid a sentinel of the welfare state, you should believe them and maybe show up to a school board meeting.
AM 560, The Answer.
Where are my tickets for tonight's game?
We got your tickets for tonight's game. You're all set. And
me, Peyton, and Eli.
And please keep us updated on the search for
Crazy's Killer.
That's right.
Yes, and thanks everyone so much for the kind notes and text messages, and I really love our audience.
We want to bring Crazy's Killer to justice, and even if that reaches up into the 5th floor of City Hall.
We'll find you. You can run, but you can't hide. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Now into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, the City Council approving a massive red light cameras settlement. Cubs beat the White Sox, and clouds and sunshine. Nice day shaping up for this day. WIND Chicago News Time is 9 o'clock.